Good evening, gamers. What is going on? It is Thursday night. You are tuned in to the hottest show around. That's right. PM in the PM with two of your hottest hosts of all time. That's right. Pong and Mav are here back again after a week off. We missed you, and we know that you missed us, but we're here and we got a lot to talk about. I am, of course, Pong Soul, one of your hosts, the man who Mav graciously enough gave the main chair to. It's great to see everybody here hanging out with us. Like I said, we did miss you all last week. I know Mav almost had a nervous breakdown not having shows last week.
I did.
But you know what? We're back on schedule. So Thanksgiving is over. I hope everybody who celebrated had a great week. Otherwise, no matter what you were doing, I hope you got a bunch of gaming in because we are getting slammed with games. It is that time of the year. We got Black Friday sales going on. We got all this stuff. But enough talking. I got to introduce the man who runs this entire ship behind the scenes, the man whose empire I am gracing right now. That's right. Fun Speculation, aka Mav, is in the house. Mav, how the hell have you been, brother? It's been too long. It feels like it's been months. What's been going on with you? How you feeling tonight? Let's go. What are you doing?
I've been having withdrawals, Pong. So I'm back. We're here. You know, we're back at it, dude. We've been having nice chill time the last week, playing games and stuff. You know, lots of Halo. You know, I think I did a 12-hour Halo stream last week. Even, you know, I couldn't stop playing that game. That's so controversial. But man, a good holiday week, and I hope you had a good holiday week as well. Between work and everything. I know we already talked about that a little bit before, but yeah, man, it's good to be back sitting here with you. I hated not having PM in the PM last week, but it was Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
It was Thanksgiving. Yeah.
You know,
there wasn't a lot of news last week, anyways. So
yeah, that's true. It was a light week because it was. I mean, what would you talk about? Black Friday, pretty much would have been the only real conversation. That and Halo stuff still. But hey, man, because we did take some time or whatever, there's more stuff to talk about now. We got lots of stuff to talk about. And I was telling you a little bit before we went live that like I almost died today.
Yeah. What's going on with that? You said both you and Caitlin almost died.
We almost died. So I'm gonna tell you, like, now we didn't actually almost die, but you know, like we both are dealing with still like remnants of this like nasty ass thing that we had a couple of weeks ago, right? Where we had to cancel some shows then too because it was sick, right? So we're still dealing with remnants of this, whatever this mystery illness was, right? So whenever I cough or laugh, right, I start to like almost pass out, right? So yeah, we had like laughing at we're driving to pick my daughter from school, and I was like, we were laughing hysterically because I did something so stupid. I was so stupid. Hey babe, I see you like saying that I need to groom like Pong. You know, maybe I need to
look, I was ignoring this. Okay, I wasn't gonna bring it up,
yeah.
But I saw those two going back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get like I'll order some Manscaped stuff from Jez. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Next time they advertise it on Xbox 2, I'll order some manscaping things from Jez. So
I appreciate the compliment, though, Rick Payne.
Yeah. Hey, Rick. Hey, now
and the follow-up, Caitlin.
Yeah, I'm gonna look extra spiffy next week. Okay, I'll spend some time. All right. Now, this is we like almost died. We like died laughing because we both almost fainted because it's something you have to be in the moment probably for this. Yeah. But like, all right, so there's this like corner of the road, and there's a sign there. Like, and I've noticed the sign there several times, and it was about a dog missing, right? And when we passed it again today, and I just happened to actually read the sign this time, and it said "found dog." I told my wife, it's like, and it's got a picture of the dog, and it says "found" above it. I told my wife, that's so stupid. What the hell? Why don't they just like pick up the sign? Why'd they have to tell everybody they found their dog? So I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's what Pong, Like, it took me about 2 seconds to realize what I did and what I had just said, because obviously the sign was put there with somebody who found somebody's dog and is putting the picture there to help them find it. But I was like sitting there criticizing the people for putting this, thinking they actually went and took the time to change their missing dog sign and put a found words on it just to let everybody know they found their dog, you know? And she's looked at me and I was like, yeah, that was one of the stupidest things I've ever said before in my life. And we almost died. And yeah, almost, like passed out driving. It was bad. Anyway, I had to have been there. We're here though, so we didn't die. And guess what? The dog is found, but we don't know who the owner is. Right? So that's where that's at. So Pong.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to follow up that story.
Yeah. We got some crazy news today.
we did. I just flew back in from New Zealand. Yeah. Checking out Chorus, the new game that is dropping at midnight local time for all of you people who have it pre-ordered. But New Zealand flights are cheap this time of the year. So if you want to hop on over to New Zealand, even Greenberg does it from time to time, as we found out. So, hey, hop on over to New Zealand, check out Chorus. It is well worth it. But yeah, we did have some news drop today. In fact, we had to have the wonderful Caitlin change our thumbnail due to the fact that the news dropped. It's funny, chat. Every Thursday, Mavs hit me up in the DMs early in the day saying, hey, what are we going to talk about tonight? Right. So he always does this. And I always usually say, let's wait a little bit. Let's see if anything shows up today. Because it's been another kind of slow week. Let's be real. Starfield, Series S dominating. Yeah. Those are going to be our main two topics. Right. And both of those are good topics. I love those topics. Xbox again dominating. Again, this is not an Xbox show. If you tuned into every episode, you'd almost think it was. However, Mav and I are just waiting for Nintendo or PlayStation to do something. But right now, there's nothing. So there's nothing we can do. Yeah. We're going to have to wait a while. So there's nothing we can do about that right now. But Xbox is dominating. So that was what it was going to be. And then sure enough, literally 10 minutes, I think, after, or maybe 20 minutes after I had sent the DM to Mav and Caitlin had done up the first thumbnail saying that's what we were going to talk about, all of a sudden, Twitter starts getting postings and all the usual suspects out there, the great people in this community who keep us informed when things come out, started posting about this article GameSpot had just written. EA had a town hall meeting in which they announced a bunch of movement within DICE. Some of the old people we've been seeing over the past week or two, ever since the launch, have been moving out, and that continued today. But the biggest news was Vince Zampella. That's right. The man who is single-handedly trying to change EA, the man who so far has done a masterful job in pretty much giving the middle finger to EA's upper management and what they usually like to do to studios, and doing his own thing and proving all of them wrong. He's going to be in charge. He's taken over Battlefield. There could not have been a better outcome at the end of this. We'll get into it, but let's talk about the article first of all, because everybody's been referencing this article. So it's GameSpot. I'll read this first. Then, man, we'll kind of discuss it here and see what we have feelings on it, because we're both excited, right? Yeah. We're both. That's why we moved the show. We said, screw it. This is the topic. This is the main topic. We're going to start with this. Let's go.
Hey, Pong, before we get into this too much, I feel like maybe we should, in case there's anybody out there, any younger listeners or anything, an education on who is Vince Zampella. Why is this name so important? Why do we keep hearing it over and over again?
Oh boy. How far do you want to go back on Vince?
Well, we can go back to Medal of Honor.
Yep.
Back to Medal of Honor, then Call of Duty, right?
Vince Zampella, along with a couple other people, are
Jason West.
Yep. You know names better than I do.
Yeah.
But again, Vince Zampella, okay, so for people don't know, and Mav can fill in here as needed, but Vince Zampella, along with a couple other people, are basically the masterminds behind Medal of Honor series, Call of Duty series, and then obviously gave those franchises the huge audiences that they once had.
Yeah.
Call of Duty still does, but Medal of Honor back in the day was a big franchise. For those of you not old enough to remember, Medal of Honor was up there.
It
Medal
was
of
Call
Honor
of Duty before Call of Duty.
correct.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor is what started the whole thing, right back in the day. So again, Vince Zampella was one of the masterminds behind those great franchises. He then left Call of Duty and wound up going to EA and giving us Titanfall.
Yeah.
So again, Titanfall 1, for those of you too young to remember, was an Xbox exclusive. It was multiplayer only, just like Battlefield. Now, Titanfall 2 gave us a fantastic campaign, one of probably the best campaigns of a first-person shooter last gen. But the first Titanfall was multiplayer only, but it introduced mechanics that we had not seen pulled off in a first-person shooter before, outside of even the Titans, which was everybody's dream to hop into a massive Titan and roll around and get into battles, right? But between the wall running, between the grappling, all of that were new mechanics that were pulled off so expertly that guess what? We got Apex Legends out of it. And even though I'm not an Apex player, guess what? Apex is one of the, if not the most popular battle royale going around right now. And there's a reason why, because they took everything they learned from Titanfall and turned it into a massive success in Apex Legends. But Titanfall 1 was an Xbox exclusive. It came out and struck a chord with a large group of people. It shot to some people's lists as far as one of the best first-person competitive shooters out there. It was an amazing game. Still is to this day. We just found out that they're actually going to stop making the game at this point. Titanfall 1, that is. They're going to keep the servers up and running, but they are going to stop producing the game and not sell it anymore. Titanfall 2 came along. Obviously, big deal still. Campaign, again, out of this world campaign, one of the best of all time when it comes to first-person shooters. People still play to this day. Titanfall 2 multiplayer did not hit the same. A lot of the people felt that the maps weren't as good as the first one, which I can agree to some. I actually have more of a problem with the Titans than I do with the maps. The Titans themselves did not feel as powerful as they did in the first one to me. But still an awesome game. And then obviously with Zampella's success, he was allowed more freedom, and EA actually got the deal with Star Wars, with Disney, to produce the Star Wars games. And of course, we got Jedi Fallen Order out of it.
Yep.
And that was supposed to be a completely different game. But Zampella basically told EA's upper management, F you, I will not make this game unless you allow me to make it a single player experience. He wanted to make a single player experience. They backed down because of how much success Zampella's had. Yeah. And because of that, we got Jedi Fallen Order, which turned out to be one of the best games of last generation to many people. It also convinced EA that the single player experience was not dead. That game single-handedly proved to EA that they could make a ton of money without monetizing a game to hell. Now, is that going to change how they do their sports games? Of course not. It's not going to. But it gave them pause. And it also increased Zampella's power. So now Zampella is basically calling a large portion of shots over at EA, especially when it comes to his games.
And we're forgetting one more game.
Yeah, go ahead.
Apex Legends.
Apex. Yeah, I said that before, but yes, go ahead. Okay. You expound upon that because I'm not an Apex player. Right. You have been an Apex player, so go ahead.
So
expound on Apex.
One of the best free-to-play games out there. Like, so it just put in this into perspective, okay? Vince Zampella, Medal of Honor, they create that franchise. It becomes a huge, massive success. Infinity Ward, right? They move on. They make for Activision, Call of Duty, right? Becomes one of the biggest franchise in history. Okay? They have a falling out with Activision. They move on. Activision retains the studio Infinity Ward, but the founders and most of all the talent at the time left Infinity Ward and formed new studio, Respawn Entertainment, who goes on to create Titanfall, Titanfall 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and Apex Legends. So just think about, out of all of those games, one man is the common denominator here as being in charge here, right?
Yep.
That's Vince Zampella. Now, to have that kind of impact on the industry and first-person shooters, but also go beyond into free-to-play first-person shooters and also go into a game like Jedi Fallen Order is absolutely sounding. And Apex is, I mean, the one thing about his games is they're always gameplay first, right? It's gameplay focused, and there's a certain level of quality that you can expect when his name is attached to a project. So this is a big deal. So we'll go on to what's the role that he's going to have now, Pong?
Well, he is taking over basically as Dice GM because Dice GM left today.
Yeah.
And amongst his other roles, he had already been moved into the head of Dice LA studio, right?
Yeah.
Which is now, why did I just forget the name? Do you remember the name? What's their new
Ripple
name?
Effect.
Ripple Effect. Thank you. So he had already they had already said, hey, you're taking over Ripple Effect after we launched Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
Now, for people who don't know, that's former Dice LA studio. Ripple Effect is the one that worked on Portal, the Portal maps, converted all the old maps over into the new style of map in the new Frostbite engine for Battlefield 2042. They were also responsible for creating Hazard Zone, which is the other mode within Battlefield 2042. So they had already had plans for Zampella. Obviously, we didn't know they had this big of plans. So the DICE GM announced his leaving today on Twitter. He had put out a formal letter to everybody thanking them for, he had been there for 12 years, I think, or 14 years, something like that.
Yeah, long time.
Long time. And he said, thank you to everybody and made his departure. And then all of a sudden we started getting news that Vince Zampella was now taking over the Battlefield franchise. And not only that, there was actually more to it, but we'll start with Zampella and then we'll move on to the extra stuff. So I'm going to read this from GameSpot today, since a lot of people referenced this article, and it seems like they did have interviews. So let's go with this. This is by Chris Perea. Forgive me if I mispronounced your name, but Chris Perea wrote this. Perea, yes. So as part of a major studio shakeup, EA announced today, EA has signaled an intent to create a connected Battlefield universe. The recently launched Battlefield 2042 isn't going anywhere, but the publisher plans to expand on the franchise in a big way. Much of Activision has complemented its annual Call of Duty releases with Call of Duty Mobile and Warzone. It sounds as if EA wants to increase Battlefield's prominence, and that could include new games from studios including Ripple Effect, which we just talked about. Speaking with GameSpot, Vince Zampella, the Respawn co-founder, who is now also overseeing the Battlefield franchise, explained that the intent here is not to replace 2042, but to create a connected Battlefield universe. This is an and strategy in many ways, he said. We will continue to evolve and grow Battlefield 2042, and we will explore new kinds of experiences and business models along the way that we can add to the foundation to provide an awesome array of experiences for our players. In this universe, the world is interconnected and interconnected with shared characters and narrative. This universe is also built with our community as we harness the power of Portal and user-generated content that puts creativity in the hands of our players. End quote. At this point, the connected universe plans sound vague due to how early in the process EA appears to be. We already know that Battlefield Mobile is on the way from Industrial Toys, the studio co-founded by former Bungie president Alex Seropian. And EA recently suggested a new free-to-play Battlefield game could come in the future, though Zampella didn't confirm any specific plans. Beyond that, there is at least one other possible game in the works from Ripple Effect, formerly Dice LA, the new Seattle-based studio founded by Marcus Leto. Which one is it? Leto?
I
think it's Leto. Yeah, I think it's Leto. Best known for his prominent role on the Halo series.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, one of the co-founders, by the way, one of the co-makers, meanwhile, is working on world building and narrative within the Battlefield franchise. EA indicated that each is working on a new experience in the Battlefield universe. That doesn't explicitly mean that these will both take the forms of games. The experiences terminology allows some wiggle room for what they will turn out to be. Quote, we intend to build a Battlefield universe with with multiple projects that are interconnected with the player at the center, Zampella said. Player at the center. Isn't that what Xbox always says? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
We plan to grow Battlefield and meet players where they play through various experiences and business models, including our upcoming Battlefield Mobile coming in 2022 from Alex Serapian and Industrial Toys. A lot there, actually. So on top of Zampella taking over, Mav, they announced that we are now all of a sudden looking towards the future, which we had discussed. If you go back, we had multiple discussions on different shows about this, that we thought this is where we saw this going with Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
This was not going to be a one and done game. And they kind of hinted that Portal was going to continue to grow. But as we heard more and more what they were talking about, we had the specific discussion that this was just the beginnings of long-term plans for Battlefield. And that if it was successful, we could be seeing Battlefield grow consistently for a very long time. Well, guess what? Now we have a Battlefield universe that they're trying to form out of this. Not only just in games per se, but other content as well. By the sounds of it, they're going to explore that. I personally expect the games to expand. I personally expect some single player experiences out of this. But we could be seeing TV series. We could be seeing movies. Who knows in the future? This is a Battlefield universe. Again, if you guys haven't figured this out, guys and gals, you haven't been watching the landscape of video games and paying attention, this is the future. Okay. Off topic, but same premise here. Kojima Studios just opened up their division to do TVs and movies, right? We've been talking about this for a long time, Mav. Entertainment industry and video game industry, they're coming together. They're merging. Yeah. They're merging. It's not, again, entertainment is changing as we speak, how people look at it and what they're thinking of what it's going to look like down the road. So get used to these kind of big terms when we're talking about universes. There's going to be a lot of games that take this form coming down the road that are going to try to do this. Now, not all are going to be successful, but some of the big franchises, Halo's included in this, right? Halo is expanding. We know this. We're going to see some of these big franchises move into this space and try to take advantage of where everything's at right now. So we not only got that, but then we find out that they're opening another studio, forming a brand new studio headed up by one of the original creators of Halo, Marcus Leto. And he actually put out a tweet as well. His tweet today, after all this went down, said, also, we are building a new studio from scratch in the Seattle area. So I'm looking for core leadership in many disciplines. You have 5 to 10 plus years of first person shooter experience. That's why I say this one's going to definitely be a game, but it could be a little bit more story narrative driven. Love the idea of working in the Battlefield universe and want to help build an awesome team. Please reach out. Man, a lot to get through here, man. Lot.
I don't think people understand like how big this is, right?
Yeah, no, man. Let me set this up a little bit, Matt, because our history here with Battlefield. So I'm a Battlefield head. you guys have been watching this show, you've been watching Xbox Ultimate or any of my other shows. It's my main first person shooter, has been. Unfortunately, it's been MIA for too long. And I've been on this trip for a long time waiting for a modern day Battlefield. And I've said it multiple times. Battlefield is my main. I'm a casual Halo player. I know everybody's on the Halo train right now. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. And it's simply one of the best. The king is back, right? But Battlefield for me is the game. And Mav also has a strong history with Battlefield as well, even though he's a diehard Halo through and through. Battlefield he loves as well. We've already had some long play sessions. So this was a big deal for us. And we all said that Battlefield had to nail this game. Otherwise, at least me personally, I was concerned for DICE, right? I was concerned that DICE could be on the ropes. I was concerned that DICE would be one of those studios that EA dissolves and takes the talent and moves it elsewhere. And the Battlefield franchise could be lost in the wind. That was worst case scenario. I was very scared of that. Now, Battlefield has not stuck the landing. It's much better than some people believe it is. But again, that's personal opinion. Not here to debate that. Some people, again, you can have your opinion about the game. I'm just telling you all, it isn't as bad as what everybody says it is all the time. Mav will attest to this as well. It isn't quite the horror show that some people like to make it out to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, it has its problems. They did not stick the landing. I was getting nervous. Word came out today. They lost 70% of their initial player base already on Steam compared to launch day. That's not good, people. That's not good. Okay. At all. A lot
of them will be back. I will say
a lot of them will be back. They're already patching. They've got a roadmap. This is the thing. And Mav has said this many, many times. And I backed him up on this. If there's one company, though, that can take a broken game and fix it and does put that energy into it, it is DICE. It is EA. Yeah. As much as we like to shred EA, as many times as we've seen them give up on games, Anthem, look, when it comes to Battlefield, they fix them. And at the end of the day, they turn out good. Now, the time frames all differ on how long it takes them. But this one right here, obviously, they're already putting time into it. But the news today changes the entire landscape, at least from my thought process about where we're going with this. This was huge news. Mav, give the people your ideas when you heard this and you started reading all of this stuff coming out. Again, it wasn't just one thing. This wasn't a little deal. Like at first I was like, oh, okay, well, GM's leaving. I kind of expected this. A lot of people were talking about people leaving, blah, blah, blah. And then I read the first tweet and I'm like, wait, we're giving Battlefield to Zampella?
Yeah.
And wait, we're getting a Battlefield universe? Wait, I started getting caught off guard a little bit. And then it just kind of kept growing from there. So Mav, tell everybody, where are you at? What did you take away from today's news? And is Zampella, as was in our thumbnail, the savior of Battlefield? Is this where we're at now?
So so my main takeaway, my first initial thought, right? Because when I saw this, it was like, whoa, okay, that's a big move. That's a big move because you're taking one of the most popular and biggest name franchises out there, you're handing it off to a new leader. And it's not just a new leader. It's the leader of FPS that has created some of the biggest franchises out there, right? It was, for me, the initial reaction was, this is not a doom and gloom of Battlefield. This is just concreting and reaffirming the investment of the future of that franchise by EA. And so it gave me actually, it let me feel that my thoughts about Battlefield 2042 were also right. Because yes, just like every other Battlefield game that I've ever played, it has launched with a lot of issues, right? This one, for me, honestly, not as much as some of the others that everybody seems to have fond memories of now. You know why? Because the majority of the time they spent playing those games was not at launch time when they were buggy messes, right? And they fixed them, some of them quicker, like you said, than others. Um, the servers in the past were always crap. They had to add servers. Like, I remember some of these Battlefield games not even be able to play it for like a day or two after launch because they didn't have enough servers and you couldn't even get into a match. You know, that was the way. That was the way it was. And when you did get in one, there was like such horrible lag; it was unplayable. That's just the reality of what Battlefield was in the past. And I think expectations have changed from the gamer because games have gotten better and better and better. And we have examples out there of like Halo Infinite having a lot less bugs and servers running a lot better and things like that, right? So people's expectations have changed with things, and everybody's a lot less patient because there's so much more to play than there used to be. People would like there would only be a couple shooters come out a year and they'd be like, I'll just tolerate this because it's what I got. You know what I mean? It's what I got.
Yep.
Now it's like, oh, if this ain't working, I'm just gonna go play Halo. I'm gonna go play Apex. I'm gonna go play Fortnite. I'm gonna go play this or that. I'm gonna play something that's working. You know what I mean? The patience level's gone a lot less, right? But this whole doom and gloom over Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
EA is not phased. EA
Obviously.
is saying, hey, hey, it's our franchise. It's one of our biggest IPs. We're not only going to keep investing in adding support for this game and fix it just like we should, and like we all knew they would, or at least those of us that have played any Battlefield game in the past have those expectations, right? Just like Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 and Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 and so on, right?
Yep.
We have those expectations and they are going to fulfill them. And this is a reaffirmation that they are not done with Battlefield. They're not done with DICE, which was what a lot of people thought. We even raised that question.
Yep, I did.
Yeah,
I thought it was a possibility.
Hey, if they fail, what does that mean for DICE? Well, guess what? And what it means for DICE is new leadership.
Right.
That's what it means for DICE. But it's not a new leadership and a change where they're not just saying, oh, we're just going to change leadership and different creative director, whatever. They're going back in, all in, investing more than ever before into this franchise. So expectations now are going to be even bigger, right? Because we're not only going to get games like this for those that like Battlefield campaigns, for people that like story elements in these games. They're investing in that solely as other projects as well. They are expanding what Battlefield is and can be. So I like the investment. Like they just see, I think they see the value of the IP. Like everybody says, IP is king, right? And they aren't going to let this IP fall by the wayside, get destroyed, get trampled over because of some issues here and there. They're going to reinvigorate the fan base, and also put the right people in charge, because they didn't just go out and get anybody. They hired within from the people that have proven to produce and put out high quality content and get results, right? So they're putting them in charge. And to go and get one of the founders of Halo to lead the story-driven experience for Battlefield, it's bold moves, right? They're not saying, hey, we're going to experiment with this. We're not going to experiment with this. You saw the tweet from Leto. He's saying, hey, I'm looking for people that are excited to get in on this, because we are excited to be working on Battlefield and give this new life, bring in people, and really looking to hire talented devs. He's not looking for anybody. He even put like 5 to 10 years experience or whatever with first person shooters and stuff like that. I mean, man, they're all in on this, dude. They're on a hiring spree. They're trying to try out different types of media, like you said, and that is not only good for the future of the franchise, it's also good for the game that we're currently playing, right?
Yep.
Because that's their core right now, and they're going to keep investing and fixing that. And it's a year from now, looking at it, I guarantee you, it's going to be a much different experience than those of you that are having issues right now. And I think the issues vary. Like our good friend and brother 3-Bit he had a horrible experience, he said, right? Which me and you never ran into any of the bugs that he said he had. when we've put in probably about 100 times the amount of time that he's put in, but everybody's experience is different, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, it's interesting to see how this is all going to turn out, but man, I'm excited about that move, dude, because
Yeah.
Call of Duty is not the same since they weren't in charge, right?
Correct. Correct.
Medal of Honor fizzled out into nothing, except the one thing that when Respawn worked on, which was the VR game that had this documentary focus on it, which they won a freaking Oscar for that.
Yep. Correct.
They wanted, okay. How much more proof do you need about the quality of the stuff that they put out? And when they put out one different, you say crossing media, right? They already did that with Medal of Honor now once, right? Doing this World War history Medal of Honor thing, and in VR, and they go out and win an Oscar for like the documentary they produced with it. Are you kidding me?
Correct.
So, and then they go on and they just keep producing. So, yes, put that guy in charge, right? It just makes sense. Hey, more power for you, sir. You deserve it because you produce awesomeness. And everything that you leave, or that for some reason, like that stupid Activision people that were idiots and let them go, right? With the whole controversy back then. Man, could you imagine what they could have built, under that umbrella?
Yeah.
Hey,
talent is key, brother.
Talent, leadership, management, it all goes hand in hand.
And not everybody can do it, right, Mav? The thing is that with Zampella, he's now proven it. Like, I don't know how much more he can find on his plate, but I mean, he's got to be in line to basically taking over all of EA at this point. I mean, the guy is nonstop, and everything that he touches, for the most part, is gold at this point. And there's very few people in this industry that have the talent, because we've seen a lot of people leave a lot of different places in the ship, and time marches on, and studios march on. And it's like, well, we thought he was like a big part of what was happening, but at the end of the day, it shows that really he or she wasn't. But there are a few key figures out there. We saw the doctors over at Rockstar when they left, right? It's a totally different company now, and they're having problems getting GTA 6. We've heard internally together. So a Zampella doesn't come along very often.
Yeah.
And so yes, putting him in charge. It's like EA skipped doubling down on Battlefield and just went to quadrupling down by saying,
yeah, man,
guess
crazy.
what? Guess what? For all you people, this guy right here, who are worried that maybe this was the last straw for DICE. No. Guess what? We're going to put in charge one of the best leaders going right now in the industry, proven leaders going right now. We're going to put him over the entire thing. We're going to build another studio. We're going to go out and get one of the co-creators of Halo, one of the biggest franchises in history, to go ahead and lead that studio to bring some narrative-driven Battlefield
It almost
content.
like seems like that was a Vince Zampella choice as well. Like,
yeah.
Dude, do you think that like there was like a pitch or interview part of this process with involving EA and Vince Zampella, as far as like, this is what it's like, okay, we need to do something with Battlefield, right? Vince, what are your ideas, right? Give us a pitch, right? And I can almost envision it now, like this big table full of all these executives and stuff like that. And Vince Zampella is going out there and he's like, all right, so this is what I would do. I would do this. I would do this. I would do this. I would do this. I would do this.
Yep.
And it's like EA said, that sounds great. Let's go. Okay. Hey, you're retiring. Vince, let's go. And hey, who do you got planned for this role? He's like, well, I really think Marcus Leto would be good because of this. Hey, Marcus, what's up, man? Do you want to head up a new studio and involving Battlefield and create story-driven experiences and be able to build your own team? Vince recommended you, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it, man." It's like, dude, I could like see this pitch like happening, and
either that or was either it was that Bav or
You're
it
right.
was, hey Vince, got any interest in taking over Battlefield? And Vince
Yeah.
goes,
Okay.
yeah.
I've worked on
And they
Call of
go,
Duty, Medal of
okay.
Honor, and Titanfall,
They
and
go,
Apex
they go,
Legends.
here's the checkbook. Just send us a memo every once in a while about what you're doing. But other than that, just go take care of business, would you? And Vince just went out there and started collecting, right? And started doing what he needed to do. No, I mean, love to be on a fly on the wall with some of these meetings, see some of the emails, see some of the Zoom calls that go back and forth. Cause I'd really like to see how this goes down. I think
Vince, just come on the show next week. We'll ask you some questions.
Yeah, Vince. I just want to get some insight into how this all goes down. Because to me, at this point, Vince is got free reign over at EA, right? He's proven, again, he gave him the finger. They tried to tell him what to do in the beginning. He gave him the middle finger, went out and proved his way works. And right now, it's pretty much EA hands off. Vince, go do your thing. Just come back and let us know how the numbers are looking, right, bud? Okay, that's all we need to see is the bottom line, right? Don't care how you get it done, just get it done. And Vince is like, got this, no problem. I'll take care of business. And so for me, the confidence, like I was saying, when I heard this news today and started reading into it, my confidence level just went through the roof because I've been having a great time on Battlefield. I'm level 35. I'm not the highest. I haven't had a ton of time to play, but I have put in some long sessions. They've already fixed a lot of things. Another patch dropped today. I have not had a chance to try it out yet because, again, I came home, went to New Zealand and tried out Chorus. But they already have a roadmap for the stuff that they're going to work on. We know that Ripple Effect is working on new Portal content. They're going to continue to add to Portal. They have this gigantic, Bab, you and I have enjoyed Portal immensely. They now have a team. They have a team deathmatch mode that they just added last week with Battlefield 2 versus Battlefield 3. It's fantastic. Steel Rain and I played it for about a couple hours the other day. It's awesome. It's amazing. They added classic Battlefield 3 Conquest. Dude, they are working nonstop on this game, and they're going to expand this portion out. And now you have all these other subsets, these other places working on other content that they're going to eventually be able to talk about that's going to add to this universe. And I still saw a lot of Doomsday people today. Now I saw the angle today already. Oh God, now EA is going to do what Activision does. Everybody's going to be working on Battlefield. Nobody's going to be working on any other kind of games.
That's not EA's MO lately.
It's not EA's MO. That's not what they did. They didn't pull another studio. They did when they're making, they pulled a lot of studios to get 2042 up and running, but they are not doing that anymore. They're actually going out and making a whole separate studio from scratch, led by Leto, in order to create new content. So they're not taking away from their other teams. They still have big plans, obviously, for Dragon Age and for Mass Effect. They got teams working on those right now. We've seen games, EA is going to continue their sports franchises. They are the money makers. We know all of this. So no, they're not going the Activision route where it's all hands on deck, just Call of Duty nonstop 24/7. That's not what this is about. However, they do see the potential that Battlefield has to get back into that Call of Duty conversation and to expand upon what they already have there, make it right, and then go ahead and get some more content out there that people want to get into and create this whole universe where people do have this Battlefield experience from top to bottom. And it's no longer that yearly release or that couple year release. It is now going to be consistent Battlefield all the time. And again, that's the shift in the industry. We're seeing it more and more. Halo's going to be the same way now. Call of Duty is the same way with Warzone. You're going to have a constant experience. If you want to hop in the Battlefield, there's going to be something there for you. It's going to be something new. They're going to be adding to it. You're always going to have a way to enter that game, whether it's the classic way or whether it's through some other avenue through content. And that's what everybody's looking to kind of do right now, because that engagement is what matters now. That metric is becoming bigger and bigger. Guess who started that? Xbox really started that, right? With Game Pass and shifting that. Now, a couple other things here, man. Speculation Town.
Okay. Where are we
Speculation town.
going with this now?
Let's
I know where
go
you're
with
going with
this.
this.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Hey, um, EA may have not been interested in going back to Titanfall directly, right? They've got Apex. Zampella obviously still has a love for Titanfall. A lot of people over at EA, as far as the devs go, have a lot of love for Titanfall. We, as fans of Titanfall, have a lot of love. Now that Zampella is the head of Battlefield, we have a situation here where the Titanfall universe and the Battlefield universe, Battlefall, which would be a great name,
Hey, there
or
we go.
Titanfield.
We already got the name. You just thought of the name of the game.
Right, exactly. Could we see a situation where these two universes come together and we have an extended, expanded universe, however you want to say it, in which they write in that the Battlefield universe is the same universe as Titanfall. Titanfall just represents the future, which we already know is the same universe as Apex Legends. Could they be rolling this all into one? Could we have a situation where we get a Titanfall Battlefield crossover game, or a gradual movement towards that at some point? What do you think, brother? Speculation town. Zampella's got complete control of everything right now on that side of things. What do you think?
Dude, I really want to say yes, and I'm trying to figure out how it could work, right? Like, okay, so Apex has got all this like really like cool abilities and things, and they got like you got a lot of sci-fi fun stuff in it, right? Great for anybody that doesn't play a lot of Apex, like they come out with these like trailers and these little intro videos and stuff where there's like great artwork and great story and stuff mixed in there that kind of gives you a little insight into the characters. The voice acting is incredible in Apex Legends. Also, like the voice actors for the characters and even in game are great. So they're nailing story aspects in this free to play game already with Apex, right? Titanfall, they nailed the campaign. And what I'm trying to figure out, because even though Apex and Titanfall are in the same universe, they're also very different,
Yep.
right? Very different types of characters, very different game. But you could see similarities between the two. Now I'm trying to put myself, okay, it's Battlefield, right? Yeah, Battlefield's history. You got the traditional Battlefield serious games. Then you got Bad Company, which has gotten a little silly and a little cheesy at times.
Complete characters. Like, oh, God.
It's almost like
best.
B action movie style, commentary and storytelling in it, which is great. That's not a knock, right?
No,
that's like
top level. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, they could take the best part of the Battlefield story we've got so far. For me, that was the Bad Company games. Okay.
Yep.
Now you think of that. Now you put it. I don't know how far into the future Apex is, right? I forget the years, but whatever. Way off in the future, whenever Apex is. Could that be a realm of possibility? Could it be? I would say it could be in the same universe. I would say it's possible they could make it work. Now how to do it, right? I think one way to do it is do a Titanfall gameplay style futuristic game.
Yep.
That is a huge conquest style Battlefield experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
With vehicles and the whole 9 yards, and you kind of merge that because you're getting that Titanfall solid gameplay set in the future, right? And then you're bringing the whole Battlefield experience. Because for me, Battlefield is a huge open map with objectives, right?
Yep.
And vehicles and complete chaos, all out warfare, right? To me, that's what Battlefield is. So could they make that work with a Titanfall where you have Titanfalls as vehicle Titans in there as well? I mean, Think about
Yeah.
that. Think of like the
Yeah.
spawn points. You have fucking Titans in there and shit. You know, like
And
I'm just like, oh my
you add
god.
destructibility and levolution, and you add that with the Titans destroying things, like early Titans, like early
Yeah.
versions of the Titans,
And
not like the few. Yeah. Go
now
ahead.
think about this, Pong. Right? Okay,
Yep.
let's say you want to bring that experience, but bring it into a more realistic setting, like
Correct.
Battlefield. So you could then have the Titans feel more like that from Battlefield. You feel like almost
Mhm.
Battlefront-y, you know, where you're
Yep.
walking with the AT-ATs and stuff like that, you know. So
Yep.
you could kind
Correct.
of see like where they could go if they made this type of game. It
Hmm.
could, dude, I could see it. I could foresee it. It would need to be in the future,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you
Obviously.
could really tell some cool stories to get there.
Yep.
So I think it, like, who knows? It could be a possibility, or they could just look at it and think it sounds ridiculous. But man, I hope so because I see potential in that, and it seems like it's a game I want to play. You know,
Yep.
like I want to play that. I want to play it.
Well, we've got the grapple now in 2042, right? So they added the
Yeah,
grapple in 2042. So some early addition, like you get those two universes merging, like you said, and you kind of get to a
yeah,
cross point in the timeline where that early technology, it's not full
mhm,
Titanfall, right? But we're far enough in the future. You get some early running, maybe some early wall running with some Battlefield. Not to the extent of a Titanfall, but some early just glimpses of that technology with some really
yeah,
early versions of Titans. Like so, like again, Asteroid Pilot said there, tank versus Titan,
yeah,
right? That those early matches where those Titans first start appearing on the battlefield, and people, but they're like rare still. It's
yeah,
not like Titanfall where everybody's got the ability to call one in. It's like a rare experience, but you get that sense of awe when one first drops in the field and that oh shit moment.
yeah,
What are we gonna do now? Right? Everybody get your rocket launchers, tanks, get out there. Like we got to
yeah.
take this thing down. That would be fun. That
I'm
would
gonna
be,
throw something else in here, Pong.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the characters, you know how they all already have specialists and stuff like that. They already kind of
Correct.
went are going that direction.
Yep.
The characters have the like are like out of Apex Legends, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
controlling characters like that have all these different abilities. Could you imagine like Pathfinder with the grapple hook and setting zip
Right.
lines and shit on a huge like battlefield map? Like
Yep.
they kind of already do that with battle royale, but it's battle royale. And I think of like a bigger map, even
Yep.
with
Yep.
all with titans and
Yeah.
tanks and soldiers everywhere, and like the NPCs bring that in from Titanfall as well. I mean, oh man, like
Yeah, man. That would
let's
be
go,
cool.
bro.
Like I said, speculation, Tao. We're just throwing this out there. Again, you never know with Vince. Again, there's some love there. Obviously, he has just created these franchises that he has the ability to go ahead and work all of this in if he wants to. And
Yeah,
if EA has this vision of making this universe as big as possible, right? You could still have the old games appear, right? We can still eventually go back to an older style game. But if you've got multiple teams now working on stuff and you've got the foundation laid with Portal to
yeah,
be able to add things at will that you want to add, right? And then you keep adding to the creation aspect from the community as well, giving input to where this goes. You could see a point in time where all of those universes come together
yeah,
and form into one big one, right? And you've got the ability to do that, and you've got the main brain behind two of the biggest franchises in Apex and Titanfall, and then he just takes over Battlefield, which again, he's one of the guys who pushed first person shooters to the forefront, especially the military side of things. So he already knows how to do this, kind of work them all together and create this one big experience, massive experience where anybody can drop in and get whatever type of match they're looking for. You can find that in this one big giant universe. And I think that would be
yeah,
pretty damn cool, on top of having narrative driven single player stories out there that kind of expand each universe, on top of, bringing in, possible TV shows or movies or whatever the case may be to fill it out and to really create a massive Marvel type universe out of this scenario. You could do it. Again, not saying it will happen, just saying you got the pieces in place right now to be able to do something like that if you want to. With the way the industry is going, both in the entertainment and the video game industry, they're all one now because video games are number one in entertainment. But what I'm saying is the classic style entertainment that we think of, kind of combining forces and really figuring out that people kind of want to have all of their whatever they're looking for at that moment in time, whether it be a movie, TV show, or whether it be a video game or whatever the case may be, to have it all in one package because everybody's kind of borrowing from both sides right now. Man, that could be something special down the road. That's for dang sure.
Man, Jasper's saying that we're like pretty much describing Battlefield 2142.
2142.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's already kind of in place, Jasper. Again, I didn't get to play Battlefield 2140. Did I ever try it? I might have tried it over at buddy's house because
they should bring that to the Xbox now that they're bringing back like
with
the Portal. Like, come on,
yes,
to
they
PlayStation, get out the consoles with the Portal. Let people try the multiplayer. That'd be really cool.
That would be really cool. Yeah, but big news today on the Battlefield front. I could not believe it. The more I read into it, the more I saw, and you and I were in the DMs instantaneously talking about it. So it's again, I know everybody's Halo right now, and it's rightfully so. The king is back. It's dominating conversations, both positive and negative, for many different reasons. Not all of them real, but whatever the case may be, the king is back. Okay. Again, this is what Halo does when it drops, and it's something this special. It kind of takes over conversations, but the other ones are still out there. Again, Call of Duty's disappeared off the face of the planet, which is one of the weirdest moments in time in history. I thought we were going to have three titans kind of battling it out here. I knew Halo would be the king. I've been saying that for a long time now, that they was going to return to form, but I thought the other two were going to be in the conversation, and Battlefield unfortunately did not stick its landing. But we did get big news today, but Call of Duty is just there. Like, it's like whatever. So King is back, but Battlefield looks to be in a good spot. I am so happy. And Mav obviously agrees that Vince Zampella is the one that's going to be leading it into the future. And I personally cannot wait to see what comes of this. This has got me even more excited now for just looking down the road as this gen goes forward, because man, we haven't seen anything yet, and Battlefield's going to be there. So this is great news, Mav. Hey, listen, I'm going to give some shout outs to the chat. Normally we do that in the beginning. We didn't, but we got a lot of people in here right now. You beautiful people. Thank you all for showing up and seeing us. We missed you. Jasper, of course, is in here. Crazy Louis Gaming, the man who is literally crazy in his videos. Dude, shout out to you, and awesome support as always. Doom Reaper, good to see you. Asteroid Pilot, awesome to see you in here. OCD Gamer, thank you for stopping by. Nix, of course, brother, always see you around. Thank you. Pixel Slappa is in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Who else we got in here? We've got General Spartan 27. Always good to see you in the chat as well. God's Geek, so good to see you, man. I know you are busy as all get out with real life, just like a lot of us are, man. So it's always great to see you in the chat.
What up, Cam?
What up, Cam? Anime Heaven, awesome to see you, sir. You always bring it, and I really do hope for your sake. I know you're going to give them 2 years. I hope we get something that interests you in the Battlefield, because I don't like to see anybody give up on a franchise no matter what. It does happen. I've given up on my own, but I hope you stick around for that. Caitlin, of course, thank you again, my dear, for the wonderful thumbnails, as always, the wonderful work that you do for us on this show. Killantis, great to see you. Who else we got in here? It's Timmy. Timmy's in here. Good to see you, Timmy. Rain of the Third Eye, that's right. He was giving me the OFK earlier. You know what's funny, Mav? Is TC off topic, but TCF merged with Huntington Bank, and I forgot to switch over all my subscriptions. So my subscription ran out. I tried to go in there and post my OFKs, and I can't do it because I got to switch over the subscription.
Oh no!
I forgot to do that. I forgot to do that on a couple shows. Oh God, unbelievable.
It's okay.
I'll
let me remove you from the list real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. So you don't read off my name. Yeah, exactly. 3-Bit, of course, stopping by. 3-Bit, we're gonna have to get you into some Battlefield, man. See if you have a better time with me and Mav, and maybe we'll get Steel in there as well. Maybe we can figure out what's going on with you over there. Papa Woody, great to see you, sir. Who else we got in here? Shizno Elite, of course, my friend. You are always around. Awesome. Thank you for stopping by. Who else? Monsta is in the house. Saffron, aka the lady formerly known as Phasma, here. Awesome to see you, my dear. Thank you for dropping on in here. Only on Xbox. You're always around too. Awesome to have you stopping in with us. Rick Payne, we shouted you out before. Great to see you, my friend. Tony Grasso, of course, brother. Always great to see you as well, hitting up the chat. If I missed anybody, let me know, but I think I've got pretty much everybody that's in here with us right now. Sour Blow Gaming stopped by early on. Sour Blow, great to see you, sir.
He came in early because he's like, hey, what's going on? Where's the show at? You know?
Right.
We
tried to put the warnings out that it was gonna be an hour late tonight.
Yeah,
so
we had to postpone an hour. I had stuff I had to do. I'm sorry. You know, but hey,
Asteroid Pilot, to answer your question, how big of a group can you get together in Battlefield? That's always an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So right now, the way it stands, you can technically we could have
to me that you can only have a squad of 4 going into a game of 128. You know,
so it gets kind of weird, but you can find, you can do the custom server list, find a server, let everybody know the name of that server, and everybody can kind of hop in. And obviously you can be on Xbox party chat, so you can have a much bigger group, but it will not break you up. Like, you can't have more than 4 people show up in one party as far as Battlefield goes and stay as a squad. It won't break you guys. If you have 12 people, you can't even invite 12 people, right? So that's kind of how it goes right now. Hopefully they're going to work on that, because that is kind of a big deal, especially for like the custom matches that we like to do and that kind of stuff. Mav started a custom match one night, so we had a bunch of people jump in the custom match, and then it filled out as we went along, which was awesome because we were playing Bad Company 2 the first night that it was out early. But that's pretty much what you got to do right now. So it kind of sucks.
That's still my favorite thing to do, is just start a server on there and let it fill in and play for a few hours. And like, you can kind of like change the maps and do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
And you still get credit. That's the cool part. Like the custom matches, like even if you play against bots, you still get credit for everything. That one match we were playing against bots, man, where you got like, I don't know how many kills in the tank.
In the tank. Oh my God.
We were dying laughing, dude. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
The bots are awful. I'm glad they have bots so they can fill out things, but man, the bots AI is terrible. You should have seen it. Mav was just, I was in the gunner seat. No, I wasn't even in the gunner seat. I was in the commander seat. So I was in charge of detecting people. We were driving around in this tank, and Mav must have had like 20 some odd kills because the AI just kept running at him in groups. It was the dumbest thing we'd ever seen. We were just dying laughing though. So I think we wrapped up the Battlefield. Yeah, it took us a little over an hour. Hey, I like that, man. That was a good topic. So
big topic is worth talking about for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time.
For sure. And I know a lot of people got a lot of negative feelings towards Battlefield, and I don't blame you. There are problems. I don't blindly defend it. I'm not here capping for it, as the kids like to say these days, just cause. But it is better than what a lot of people are trying to put out there. Again, your experience is going to be your experience. I'll never take away from that. I'm just letting you know that, again, a lot of it is FUD out there right now. There's a lot of just people. It's cool.
The biggest problem is that with all the drama about it, the game's $70, right? So they do give you the chance to try it for the 10-hour trial. But if you don't have the best experience within that 10 hours, then you're not gonna go drop $70. You know what I mean? So I think like that's the barrier of entry thing, right? Like that
if it was free to play, people might have a different opinion.
Yeah.
But right now, having to commit to that is a big commitment.
Yeah. So
I bought the Ultimate Edition.
Trash that haven't even played the game, right?
Correct.
But so it's kind of like, you pay $70, you want a certain experience. You're unhappy about the issues that it has, which is rightfully so, which then leads other people to be like, hey, this sucks. I'm not gonna pay $70 for this, right? So I get the issues too, Pong. But like at the same time, there's a lot of overblown stuff out there that is completely off the mark. I'll just leave it at that. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, but hopefully, again, they're moving in the right direction. So we
Yep.
had to hit that because it was huge news. So, um, let's get on to the next big one. Now, we weren't going to have a whole lot to talk about this week, but then of course, Bethesda is starting to ramp up the Starfield hype.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
This is for anybody too young to know how Bethesda works, because again, I've seen a lot of people out there, even after this week's information, going, "You guys, why are you so excited? You don't know anything about it. How come they're not showing us anything
Yeah.
yet? We're getting this next year and we haven't seen anything
Why
yet.
is anybody excited for a game we know nothing about?" I remember all that conversation.
Oh God. And it started up this week again, and added to it, it's a year out and we haven't seen anything yet. I said, are we gonna have problems? Is there problems with the game? Is there something going? This is Bethesda's MO. This is Todd Howard's MO. Okay. This is how he works. This is how that studio works. That team does not put out information like many other studios do. They start ramping up towards their big reveal. They don't show us gameplay until they're ready. And it's normally at one big time, which we know they've already come out and said next summer, which means E3 for anybody who does not know that, is when we get the gigantic Starfield blowout. Okay. Flat out, this is how they do business. But now that we are closer to 2022, now that they've set their date, Todd has come out and said in interviews that he is confident in that date. That's why they put it in the trailer. And when Todd says he's confident in a date, guess what? It means it's set in stone. Okay. All but carved in stone. Yeah. Okay. They would not have put it in a trailer if they were not ready to do that. Again, personal feelings are, I think they were pushing for a 2021 release. And I think that when the whole Microsoft thing went down, I think even internally Microsoft was hoping 2021 release. Not that they're going to need it this year after Forza Horizon and Halo, but there was still hope. But I think then after it all finally kind of started settling down, Phil and Todd probably had a talk, and Todd said, "Hey, probably could really use another year on this game to really polish it up and get it ready to rock and roll." And Phil said, "Take all the time you freaking need, because
people
this
don't
is your
realize
next big
how
baby."
long they've been working on this game.
Yes, correct.
They've been working on it.
You've gone through it. You had a great video months ago about it and how far this goes back. But this week, Starfield, Bethesda Studios released a sit down with Todd Howard. Do you have the names? I thought I had the names of who else was there with them.
It was him. Todd Howard and a guy and another guy and a girl.
Yeah, yeah, I know. She's like the direct, she's like one of the directors right underneath Todd, has been with Bethesda for a very long time. Anyways, they had a sit down, like it was an in-house kind of deal, right? This wasn't put on by anybody. This was put on by Bethesda. This is what Bethesda does. High production value kind of sit downs where they kind of have some of the minds behind the games that they're getting ready to release. And they kind of talk about the process and what they are going through and what their feelings are and how they're approaching the game that they're specifically coming out with. And right now it's Starfield all the time. And there was a lot of interesting stuff that came out of this. Mav, for sure. Todd, again, you and I talked about this in the background. They did, during this interview, have some new previously unreleased artwork from Starfield.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh dude.
Oh brother.
Jeez.
Do you have any of it?
I can bring it up, and well, I mean I can bring up the YouTube. Unless they released it, but I can bring up the YouTube.
I've got some tweets with some of the pictures in them too as well. But yeah, so they did have some previously unreleased artwork in here, but really there was some big things that I took away from this, that Mav took away from this. But the confidence in this interview is overflowing. If you don't know Todd Howard's past, and if you haven't watched Todd Howard before, he's made his mistakes. Every human being makes their mistakes. He said things on stage before, it just works is the one that everybody just loves to bring up, because obviously Fallout 76 just work, right? It was a mess when it first came out. Now they've spent the time. It's a much better experience. It is actually a Fallout experience now. If you go play it, I highly recommend that anybody loves Fallout, go play 76 now because it's completely different than when it came out. So he's made his mistakes in the past. And obviously, Bethesda is a nice name that everybody's
Yeah.
given Bethesda through the years because their games technically have come out buggy as all get out. In fact, a lot of the modding community that they embrace have fixed their games beyond what Bethesda was even fixing them. So again, all those things have been earned, but they have also earned the title as probably the best Western RPG developers out there for a reason. And Starfield is their next big one. It is the third style of RPG that Todd originally dreamed up. He wanted a high fantasy game, RPG. He got that in the Elder Scrolls. He wanted a post-apocalyptic RPG. Gave us that in Fallout. And now he always wanted to do a sci-fi exploration RPG into the universe and what's out there, right? That's the big question. What's out there? And so now he's giving us Starfield. That's why this is so big. That's why this was such a huge deal as far as the acquisition goes with ZeniMax, because if this lives up to Bethesda's pedigree that they've developed through the years, you've got your next big franchise, the first new franchise from Todd Howard and his A team over there at Bethesda Game Studios in 20 plus years. So this is going to be huge, Mav. So start with you, bud. What did you take out of this, brother? What did you get from Todd? And again, I'm going to try to find the team, the couple people that were there with him.
Yeah.
What did you get out of it? What did you take away from this interview? What did you see that you really got you even more hyped? Because again, both you and I are hyped beyond hype for this game. So what did you get out of this? What really caused a stir? And for people who don't know, it did cause a stir. People were writing articles this week again about Starfield and all that kind of stuff. Again, this is the beginning of the hype train that Bethesda likes to do. So how did you come away from this? What were your feelings and thoughts?
Well, let me move I'm going to move this over to you now, and I'll talk a little bit.
Yeah.
I got this video playing. So yeah, man, it's like, where do I start? We were talking about this before we went live, dude. Like the visuals of the concept art, like the moving concept art that they have at times in this, and just the way they talk about what makes their game special, right?
Correct.
And that's what excites me the most, is they understand what their games are, and that's what a lot of this video is about. They are talking about how they build their games and what the things to think about, like how he's talking about, hey, if you just stand there and watch the sunset, right? Like, hey, nobody may do that, but it makes an impact, right? Like, of the feeling like the world is lived in, being able to pick up bottle of water, or like a cup, as he says, right? The mug, everything about making it tangible, right? Like a tangible world that you're actually living in. And that's what makes a Todd Howard game and a Bethesda Game Studios game what it is. And hearing them discuss these aspects about it is making me hope and realize that that's 100% what Starfield is going to be. It is going to be this grounded experience that they're going to have set, and they'd say more grounded than their other games, right? Grounded in the form of like feeling like it's a real possibility.
Yeah, more
right?
science-based, right?
Yes.
Actual science-based.
Science-based instead of like fantasy-based, right?
Correct.
And it's like taking those aspects and then giving you that sense of wonder and exploration, right?
Yep.
It seems what this game is going to be about, and the way they kept talking about how grounded it is, and how they're building the world, and going to all those little details about concept art for all these things. And he talks about what kind of entertainment do they do, what do they do for What kind of toys do the kids play with? What kind of all these things?
Mhm.
And remember how we talk about like pre-production, right?
Yep.
Stuff that was going on with this game way before actual development, which actually started way like before a lot of people realized. Like going back to right after Fallout 4 launched is when the actual development started on this game. It's like 2016, right?
Correct. Yep.
And before that, guess what? This game had tons of time invested in with pre-production, with world building. They had been thinking about this game for a long time, and they had a small team doing work like this, building the world out, coming up with these concepts, right? And then they talked about how many people are in their studio that have been there since the beginning. They call them the old hats of the BGS alumni that really understand everything that has created their games in the first place. And then hiring people that are or were only interested in the gaming industry because they played a game like Morrowind, Oblivion, right? And now they're hiring those people that really understand what the games are to them and then evolving it. Like they go into all those details about that and how it's evolving the game, but still staying true to what it is. And it gets so excited. Like when I made that video before, it was the reason I made that video is because I got sick of people saying out there, why the hell is anybody excited about this game? Nobody knows what it is. And I'm like, know exactly what it is. I've always known what this game is. It's a Bethesda Game Studios game, but it's a space game. That's something I've wanted ever since the first time I ever played a Bethesda Game Studios game. I'm not, and that's again with the whole negativity thing, right? Like people tend to run with narratives and tend to run with things about what their most recent experience is, and sometimes rightfully so. But you can't just say because Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online or didn't click for you that it means that they don't know how to build a RPG anymore. When that's a completely different type of game.
Right.
Completely different type of game that wasn't even developed primarily by the actual main core studio that's known for making the big single player games. They were helped on those, but
It was the B team. Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not this team, and people just don't understand this, dude. And it gets like frustrating, like to see like all this negativity about people like, what have you done for me lately? Blah 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 blah.
And,
blah.
and what's funny is they ignore Elder Scrolls Online, even though that's the most played console MMO out there.
It's so
right?
successful.
And it's so successful. And again, that's not even the A team.
No.
But they built something very special, but people just ignore that.
And
like
they're going to
ESO
build something else special that nobody's talking about right now because they have another project in the works, which is not even
Star Wars MMO.
Oh gosh, Wars MMO. Like, but when you look at the Starfield stuff, this concept art, the music, the way they talk about it, and me understanding what these games meant to me, like a lot of people love Skyrim, and I love Skyrim too, but for me it was Oblivion. Oblivion was that game, right? Like on the 360, I put that in and like I was like, oh my god, this is like insane. This is like a dream game, And we
didn't get those on console. We didn't get those on console back in the day.
We did.
Those were PC only experiences, right?
Right.
And that's us console only players did not get those types of games. So when that game, and again, Morrowind was for a lot of people. I'll never argue with anybody again. Why? Because those games just weren't something that we saw on console. And so Oblivion for sure for me, Mav. I played Morrowind and it was fantastic, and I was, I loved it. But when Oblivion hit, that was something incredible.
So the reason I made that video is because I was like, all you people that are saying you don't know what Starfield is, you've been ignoring all the things that we know about it, right? You can't discount the history. You can't discount all of the interviews, the information that's out there, which we have already had for years, right? And then it was awesome as I saw other interviews and stuff. Like I saw other things after that come out from some other people that were starting to be like, there is some information out there like about Starfield and what we know about Starfield so far. And then guess what? When that trailer dropped, everybody was now on the Starfield train, right? Oh, this is different. Oh, they're making a single player RPG? Okay. Who would have thought? You know? And man, when we see this stuff, like they're deep, like you said, they're going into this like full um on marketing behind the scenes mode, like interviews, and dude, like the way like you get their passion comes through, right? That's the one thing about Todd Howard. Like not everything is always clicked when he talks, right?
Right.
About like
Right.
what we actually get to experience. He has a little bit of that Peter Molyneux in him, right? Like
Does.
because he's a dreamer, right? He's a
The
creative.
best do. Let's put it out there. The best do that, right?
Yes,
Kojima's the
100%.
same way. Again, their visions are so big
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of times they get wrapped up in that excitement when they talk about what they're making, and then when they get down to the technical aspects, it's just not possible. But I give Todd credit on this one because he had this dream 25 years ago. He's been thinking about this game, but he knew the tech wasn't available to him to do
Yeah.
this.
So he
Yeah,
waited.
until this time. He waited.
They
Correct.
waited, and it became available. And the tech that they've been building for this, guess what? They're going to use on Elder Scrolls 6, right?
Yep.
And if you want to talk about being excited, right, beyond Starfield, there's only like as a few things that I love about as much as Halo, and it's Bethesda Game Studios RPGs, right? Especially the Elder Scrolls series, um, and I don't know, that's about it, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that's like one, well, Splinter Cell. The other one would
Yeah.
be Splinter Cell. Okay.
Right.
But man, like to see all this stuff, it just actually 100% physically gives me chills, dude.
Mhm.
Like even talking about it, my excitement and what I know that this game is going to be gives me freaking chills. And I hope that people understand like what they're creating, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be we have never played a game ever that is going to be like Starfield. That's like Starfield.
Right.
That's just 100%. I will tell like it's going to take inspiration from lots of different things, but there's never been a grounded, realistic game that it has this much investment put into it that is going to be this fully fleshed out, where you're going to explore different planets and all this stuff with the story-driven narrative and storytelling, world building of a Bethesda Game Studios game. This is going to be the first time ever we are really going to get to do that. And dude, I'm freaking pumped for it. I want to also, because I did miss this super chat. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
my easy. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I super appreciate you. It said EA sold me a broken coddish, Apexish game with the Battlefield name on it. RIP Battlefield, my favorite franchise. I will miss you a lot. Hey, everybody that feels the way they do, appreciate the super chat, and hopefully
Yeah.
they win you back someday with Vince on board and something new in the future. But man, back to Starfield, dude. Like just
Yeah.
that artwork,
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. What was the main takeaway for you from that whole interview?
Yeah. First of all, it was Todd Howard, Angela Browder, who is the studio director, which
Yeah.
I was close on that, directly underneath Todd, and then art director Matt Carafano. Those were the three that sat down for this.
And
So
those are like old veterans of the studio.
veterans,
Yeah.
veterans of the studio. Yes, correct. They've been with Todd for a very long. That's why it's so interesting when you see Todd sit down with his own people and they do these internal talks, right? It's so comfortable. They're
Yeah.
friends. They've
Yeah,
been
like
doing
lifelong
this
friends, family.
right, family. They attend each other's weddings and that kind of thing, right? That's how Bethesda Studios, and you gotta love those stories, man. When studios have been around like that, we've seen so many studios come and go through the decades, especially for us old gamers, where everybody's broken up. To see a studio like Bethesda create so many iconic franchises together and so much of the core together, like it is insane. Like when Pete Hines and Todd Howard like did that interview with Phil and Major Nelson. Dude, it was like a bunch of drinking buddies. It was like you and
Yeah.
me and Steele and Psycho and Caitlin and everybody just hanging out, talking games, right? That's how it is because
Mhm.
they've been doing this for so long and they are friends and as close as family, many of them. And that's what's so cool to see this. So this interview right here again solidified everything you said, Mav. And it's awesome to hear you say that it gives you the physical chills when you look at when you watch this stuff, because that's why I jumped in this community, because I thought I was like one of the only people out there that still got excited about stuff like this. But this for me is huge. Like I'm if I had to choose, I'm more of a high fantasy guy, but sci-fi is right there for me, right? Sci-fi is the exploration of space, the unknown out there in the universe is huge for me. And so the Star Treks, the Star Wars, those iconic franchises have grabbed me and got a hold of me for so long in my life. Just the unknown, and I think that was the big thing. And Benji kind of gave Benji Sales, shout out to Benji Sales, awesome member of the community. He gave kind of a breakdown, some of the things that he highlighted, which was the realistic science-based world, which we talked about. Exploration is a huge focus. The main question being what's out there. Todd specifically talked about that in this video. He said kind of go around and when you're talking about a game and brainstorming a game, you kind of ask everybody what's our main or what's our main question? What are we trying to answer with this game? Or what is the main driving force behind it? And he said with Starfield, almost to a person, it was what's out there, right? What's out there. That's that again, you could not speak more music to my ears than just saying that, because that's what I want to do in this game. Different from other Bethesda games, but still similarities. That goes back to the science-based kind of aspect of it, realistic science-based worlds that they are talking about here. Todd talked about bringing in different mechanics than they've ever done in other games before, and I'm sure that has to do with gravity. I'm sure that has to do with as small things as like oxygen intake off of your space suit, all that kind of stuff that they've never really had to consider before or only touched on. We've seen a little bit of that in Fallout, depending on toxicity levels, all that kind of, but they're trying new mechanics. They're going to be doing new mechanics for the first time in this game. But he did say you're still going to be able to touch everything in the world, just like you expect to. So if you want to grab, like a lot of people like to collect things in Elder Scrolls and Fallout, right? I'm a hoarder. I hoard everything. My chest is ridiculous.
And everything.
I don't do the pots and pans things, but there are people out there who do that, who have to grab and take every coffee mug they see, right? Or whatever the case may be, or plates or whatever the case. So, but he said you're still going to be able to do that in this game, because that's vital. That's like one of their core points that he loves in gameplay, because it brings the player closer to the world if you can interact with all the objects that you see on the screen at the so that they're still going to have that kind of stuff, but there are going to be new mechanics involved. Expectations, he reaffirmed the fact that, hey, expectations for games have increased since they've been making games, and he realizes that. And so they've raised their own expectations internally as far as what they're going to bring a game. Again, saying all the right points, right? Talking about all the right stuff. Todd went on to talk about how he understands one of the biggest parts of their games is that these are going to be worlds that people explore for hundreds of hours at a time. Again, anybody worried that they were going to cut down on the size of Starfield? Don't worry. They know what they got going. Believe you and me, Todd and the rest of that team want a 10th anniversary Starfield edition, just like they have a 10th anniversary edition of Skyrim, right?
I think they're going bigger, way bigger than Skyrim, because of the amount of dialogue.
Correct. Even the amount of dialogue says that they are going to take this up to another level when it comes to that. Todd talked about, and these are some of the things that I love to hear from him, because he gets it. He said that some of the best parts of their games are the adventures that on your first playthrough that you don't go and do, but you go back and discover again when you're replaying or you're
Mhm.
going back through and playing. All those side quests that you don't find, right? On top of what you brought up, Mav, which he talked about just sitting there and letting the world pass you by and watching a sunrise or a sunset or a moonrise or whatever the case may be, but just being able to sit there in that world and have that moment, right? That's what it's about to be a Bethesda RPG. So again, he's keeping the core of what makes everything about Bethesda games great and just putting it into a sci-fi experience, which just opens up even more
Yep.
possibilities due to where you can go, how much you can see, and what you're going to be able to actually explore, accomplish, find, all that kind of stuff. Right. So that's what excites me here. We still don't know like how many planets we're going to go visit. We don't know if it takes place in more than one star system. We don't know any big questions, but we're getting there, right? But he's already talking my language all over again because as I play back through Skyrim, these are the things that I'm re-experiencing. I'm falling in love with Skyrim all over again because I gave it so much time in between gameplays. But anybody who doesn't know why Bethesda holds this kind of reverence and why Todd Howard holds the reverence and why I call him God Howard jokingly, amen, bless his name, is because you go back through a Skyrim and replay it. Again, there's something that you don't still to this day, even though people have tried, there's something magical you don't find anywhere else in those games, right? It's just something special. So as of the
It's a
interview,
character. It has its
yeah,
own character,
the world itself is
Yeah.
right, and the randomness of the world and the things that you can again, I can't explain it. It's something that it has to be experienced. Other games have done it well. Red Dead Redemption did it well as well. Just pick
Mhm.
a spot, and if you just want to go walk to that spot and find out what happens along the way, you can do that. And there's not many games that pull that off and keep you entertained. But
Yeah.
in a game like a Bethesda RPG game, you can do that. You can just pick a point on the map. You don't even have to pull up your map and pick a interest spot or something that's popped up there. You just go pick a random location. I'm going to walk to the other side of this mountain. And I guarantee you something's going to capture your eye, whether it's in the environment, whether it's a random thing happening, whether it's a troll attacking a dragon, there's going to be something that grabs your attention, whether the sun's rising and all of a sudden you take a stop and you go, my God, that's beautiful. Holy
Yeah.
cow. That just like something's going to happen to you in that travel. And not many games can do that. And that's what's great. And as this interview went on, he talked about Mav, I think he touched on it as well. Um, there's always that first wow moment, right?
Yeah.
That oh shit moment is basically what they were saying in a Bethesda game. That's classic. Like anybody who's played
Mhm.
the first moment that you walk out into the world and see the world for the first time, it's a wow.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Out
coming
of a
out
prison or
out
it
of the
just coming.
shelter,
Yeah.
yep, out of the
One or the
shelters and
other.
Fallout, yeah, or in Elder Scrolls, when you first got free and you walk, there's always that moment. Now, Todd said that there's actually two, he considers two in Starfield, right? And a lot of people were speculating this week on what that meant.
Mhm.
I think most people have probably hit the nail on the head. The first one is going to be when you first get through the opening scenes, the narrative's kind of set up, the beginning narrative, and you are on your first planet. And then I think the next one will be when you get
Go
in your
into
ship,
space. Yeah.
take off, and you exit the atmosphere and you enter into this wide open universe.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely what it's going to be here.
I can imagine there's going to be epic music
Oh,
playing when that happens.
well, again, that orchestra
Yeah.
from the
Mhm.
Skyrim anniversary, go back again. I'll tell you, it's off topic, but not. Go back. If you guys love the classical music and the music from Skyrim, go watch the entire orchestra during the anniversary celebration. Go watch that again. And at the end, they give us, 4 to 5 minutes of Starfield music.
Yeah.
Because for anybody who hasn't heard us talk about this yet, every team is different on how they create. Every development studio is going to be different about where they start when they start the development process. Todd and his team starts with the music first, which to me is absolutely incredible. That is absolutely just because the music That's why when you go and play a Bethesda RPG, no matter what it is, the music sets the tone in every moment. And like you just said, Matt, guarantee you that
Yeah.
music as you're taking off and blasting in and leaving the atmosphere and then entering space, that music is going to be setting the tone for you. And I cannot wait to hear it. But the concert that they put on and the Starfield music, again, when I was listening to it, there's so many pieces in there that bring back sci-fi movies that you've watched. It's crazy. Like I was just getting glimpse after glimpse of any and every sci-fi movie I've ever
Yeah.
watched. I got a bit and piece of through that music. So that just tells me everything I need to know about this game. But
What about
these
this one?
three, yeah. Huh?
What about this movie? Close
Which
Encounters
movie?
of the Third Kind.
Oh, of course,
Do you
man.
think they
Of
got some
course.
music inspiration from that?
Oh, I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
Wait until you meet your first alien civilization in this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, of course. Aliens,
Yeah.
you name it. It's in there, man. It's in there. But just these three, again, sitting down and talking so candidly about how they go about this process and their feelings on this game. They don't take shortcuts when they make these games. This is not, they put every bit of passion that team has into this. And like you said, man, they brought in fresh blood, right? They've been around so long that yes, they have the core team that's been doing this for a long time, but they got this fresh blood. They got these fresh perspective from people who may have been playing their games as kids, are now growing up and gone into the industry and joined Bethesda Studios with the same love for those games that those old hats have, but they're bringing new perspectives. And again, another exciting thing too, man. They were talking about the details, right? They're talking about, because it's real science-based stuff, that they're parts of their team when they're going and figuring out how, what the kids would play with, obviously in the future and that kind of stuff. But then they showed some of like the big, like construction zones within the plants, like constructing starships, and they went to different places and learned how something that gigantic would work as far as the machinery, the cranes moving and all that kind of stuff. And then being able to bring that back, get the artwork team to draw up schematics and draw up art that would kind of represent where they're going with. And then obviously the devs themselves getting the graphics together and figuring out how the mechanical pieces are going to, that's the detail that they go into with these types of games. And Starfield, I guarantee you, is going to be their most detailed game ever, just due to the fact of the actual setting that they're in, that everything has to look and feel like it would be something that could happen in real life, and that people would be able to say, hey, I could see this in the future being real, right? I could see this actually working this way. And that's what they want to give us in Starfield. Bro, I'm telling you, 11/11/22, it's less than a year away. 1 year from now, we will have had the game for basically 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks at this point.
That's gonna be crazy, dude. Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy, man. It's
and
gonna
they
be
get to
crazy.
play Halo up until that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
And Halo's going to
Redfall,
continue to evolve. Yeah, we're going to have all this stuff again. 11/11/22 is going to be a special day for me personally. I cannot wait. I don't buy collector's editions. I will be purchasing the collector's edition of Starfield. Again,
Have
yes,
they
we still have
announced
to
what's
see
in
it.
that yet, or if they're
They haven't even said. There's
I-
guessing out there that the case in the first trailer that we got, the trailer we got at E3,
Yeah,
that the case, which contains an actual one of the futuristic astronaut watches, is probably going to be the collector's edition,
right.
because they'll
want a
have an actual
spaceship.
working watch.
I want a spaceship.
I would like a spaceship too. So I can't wait to see what they come up with. They always do great collector's editions. But I understand people. We haven't seen anything, right? They could show it at E3 next year. It could be complete shit. But let's be realistic here. It's not going to be. Okay. There's a reason why Sony wanted to lock this down for at least a year, potentially 2 years, before Xbox came in and decided to make the acquisition, right? There's a reason why. There's a reason why Phil and the entire upper management team, whenever they talked about the acquisition, talked about ZeniMax, talked about Bethesda, that first 6 months, that's why I believe they were still shooting for this year. Every interview, no matter who it was, brought up Starfield. Starfield's going to be massive, people. Starfield is going to be the next big franchise from Bethesda. it is going to be, in my opinion, it will be the earth-shattering kind of game that Skyrim was. There's not many RPGs that do that, but I think this one will. It will take Mass Effect's storytelling, because they can pull off that kind of storytelling, but just explode it out so that you get to explore the universe so much more than you do in a narrative-driven game like Mass Effect. But it's going to have that kind of impact, and I simply can't wait.
Yeah.
Just
The world's not ready for the impact that Starfield's going to create. I think I mean, Starfield could, like, you talk about mixed media and all this stuff, like, it could transcend, like, once it comes out. I mean, yeah, it's got to come out and it's got to hit.
Yeah,
right. It's got to come out and it's got to hit.
Yep.
I just have so much faith in it. Like, I'm thinking ahead, unless like community destroys it, based on like, like Cyberpunk, right? Like,
yeah.
you never know. Like, Cyberpunk, a lot of that's also on the devs, right, and their marketing department.
Yeah.
But like, let's say Starfield comes out and it has some bugs, like every Bethesda game studio game has. Well, how will the world react in this day and age, right? I hope that it doesn't, get thrown under that kind of bus, but we'll see.
I don't. I mean, again, nothing's impossible anymore, and I've seen so much craziness on social media now that obviously it wouldn't shock me. But again, Bethesda has so much love built up through the years that even as bad as 76 was, and people still bring it up to this day.
It's good now. If you actually,
it's good now, and it actually all died off. And again, unless people want to bring up the concern trolling and use it, they don't. Right? It's there, and people just understand. But they built up so much goodwill for decades. Not like CD Projekt Red, where they had basically one game built up all this goodwill, right? Bethesda's got a lineage, and they've got some of the most iconic franchises underneath their belt, and it's the same team. That's the whole thing. It's the same team doing it. I think that, no matter what, at the end of the day, first of all, I don't believe it's going to come out as buggy as their normal games. I think they're taking this year to polish.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's why they did. That's why they pushed it a year, was to make sure that it doesn't come out the same as some of their other games do. But they're going to embrace the modding community like they always have. They reinforced that again. They talked about how important it was, how that gives the game life beyond what they even expected to, because the modding community adds so much to it. And again, for anybody who doesn't know, Bethesda loves the modding community, and they actually hire people from the modding community to work at Bethesda Studios. They are one of the shining examples. Yeah, they've made some decisions that pissed off their modding community, and the Anniversary Edition didn't do the modding community any favors, because it did cause a lot of problems. But at the end of the day, that's been around for 10 years, because Bethesda says, we love you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Make whatever you want to make. Make our game even better. Go ahead, do it. They love that kind of stuff. So I can't wait to see what we get out of the modding community too. So man, just looking forward so much to Starfield, brother.
Yeah.
So much.
We're on the same. We drive mentally on so many different like things, like about the kind of games we get excited for. It's crazy. You like some things like OFK that I'm not pumped for, but it is what it is.
If one game can beat Starfield for Game of the Year next year, it's OFK. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I wonder what soundtrack is going to be better. That's like
OFK. Obviously, it's gonna be a hit.
I mean, it's going to have words in the music. So,
right, we're gonna hear it on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok, all that.
It's gonna be Spotify #1. Trust me.
Yeah,
OFK is coming. People aren't ready.
We are OFK.
We are OFK.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I can't wait to make some TikToks for fun speculation using the OFK music. Can we have some kind of like Volcano High / We Are OFK battle? Ooh. Like, there's got to be some kind of like competition involving those games. We got to figure it out, man.
I don't know if Volcano High has any music though, but we might have to have like a co-stream.
So there's like no music in Volcano High?
I don't know. I can't see there being. Well, maybe there is. Maybe there's some.
There's no game music, period. No.
Yeah, no. I think it's gonna be. I think Volcano High is more gonna be like the sounds in the school and stuff. Of going to class.
Well, what about menu music? Main menu music.
Yeah, there might be main menu music. I don't know what's gonna be though. It's gonna be simple. Yeah. It's not gonna be OFK level.
Welcome to Volcano High. Rawr.
Hey, we got 15
something like
minutes
that.
left, Mav. Of what we
Oh.
normally we don't actually have a time frame, so whatever. But we did start late tonight. You want to touch on Series S blowing up?
Yeah, let's touch it. Let's touch that Series S.
Okay. All right, let's touch the Series S. Pause. I'll touch it. Hey, listen, Series S. Unbelievable to some people. Some people said, it was the only console available. But look,
I've done
Series
that in a while.
S. Yeah, you have not done that well. The Series S has, according to all types of news sources, dominated Black Friday. Series S supposedly outsold PS5, outsold Series X, and outsold the Switch OLED even. So Series S did what it's supposed to do, Mav. It was available and people went out on Black Friday and bought it. Now, we've had all sorts of
But
excuses.
it's only available because nobody wants it, Pong. That's what people say.
Yeah, people only bought it because nobody wants it. I saw that.
Yeah.
How do you come up with that statement and go, yeah, I'm going to put that. Anyways, yeah, so we had all sorts of excuses and reasons why. And it seemed like nobody could just give credit where credit's due to Microsoft and Xbox. Actually putting out a plan, first of all, originally having two consoles and saying this is the reason why they had two consoles in the first place, even though people want to say that was stupid and it was going to cause confusion. Why would you do that? Who's going to want a weaker console? Blah, 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 blah. Imagine a $2.5 trillion market cap company having a plan, Mav. Imagine $1 billion division within inside that company actually thinking about things through and saying, you know what? We've seen this before in this industry. People buy a weaker console.
Yeah.
Why? Because it doesn't matter to the masses. To a lot of the masses, it doesn't matter.
They just want to play the games.
They just want to play the game. Anybody heard of Wii?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. One of the greatest selling consoles of all freaking time. Oh, that's right. Underpowered to no get out. Had none of the next gen features that the other consoles at the time were promoting. But yeah, it outsold everybody.
Another
Why
example,
is that?
Look at the Switch.
Switch.
Right? The Switch is
exactly
like,
now
is a toy compared to the competition, and it still sells like crazy.
Right. And of course, I can hear the comeback. Well, we got Nintendo IP behind it. Yeah, you're right. But at the end of the day, what is it doing? It creates accessibility. When you have even if it's a lesser powerful version of what we have Series XYs or PS5Ys, right? But you give everybody access to the same content that the big boys have at a much cheaper price, lowering that barrier to entry. And then on top of it, the cherry, you have a service like Game Pass that offers the diversity of gaming that the masses are looking for. Not everybody out there waits for the AAA home runs. Not everybody out there just sits around waiting for the exclusives dropped or even cares what an exclusive is. You present to a family who is looking to get into gaming, has a couple of kids, is a younger couple, and says, hey, we don't want to necessarily invest all this money because we're not going to play it all the time, but our kids are going to play it. We're going to play it sometimes. And they go to a store and they got the sales rep there going, or they've heard now because it's the ripple effect is happening. Hey, what's this Game Pass thing I keep hearing about? Oh, wait. So you guys don't have the $500-600 one in stock. Okay, well, I wasn't looking to buy that anyway. Oh, but wait, you got this $300 console here that allows me to play the same games that these guys over here are playing, and I can get Game Pass for $1 for the first month, 3 months, whatever it is at this point, and it's only $15 after that. But I get to try it out and I get to see what it is. I've been hearing a lot about this Game Pass thing. You're telling me that you honestly believe that wasn't a plan that Microsoft and Xbox had all along, and now we've heard from reliable sources that the decision was made earlier this year to start moving production over to the Series S versus the Series X because of the lower specs they get 2 Series S's for every 1 Series X. So they decided to shift their focus and said, guess what? Chip shortage. We're not going to have a lot of consoles anyway. Let's maximize the ability that we do have and give everybody the opportunity to go get an S. And oh, by the way, for everybody out there who has a PS5 or a Switch and wants a companion console that plays some of our exclusives like Halo and Forza Horizon 5, which are going to be out this holiday, oh, we're going to be able to offer them this low entry point right here to get into our ecosystem. You don't think that they might have had that in the back of their heads when they were doing this whole thing? Yep. Matt, were you shocked and awed when you heard that the Series S was the best-selling console during Black Friday? Were you one of those people wondering how this could happen, or just simply saying, you know what, it's the only one available, so people just settled. People just went in there with a pocket full of cash and said, you know what, you don't have the other ones. Just give me an S because it's here.
Yeah. I am on record as saying that I believe by the end of this console generation, the Series S will be the #1 selling console. That's not including the Switch, because that's not a console. And that's a handheld market. Plus, also, that's last generation as well. So I'm talking about this generation coming up. PS5, Xbox, moving forward. I think the Series S will outsell any PlayStation or Xbox console. And I'm on record of saying this before on, I don't remember if it was one of the earlier episodes of the Xbox Ultimate or whatever. But it just makes sense. You got to put yourself out of the Twitter, social media, fanboy, console warrior, diehard, hardcore gamer mindset. You got to take yourself step back and imagine you're a mom or dad and you don't know shit about video games, right? Except you played Mario when you were a kid, or you heard about this Halo game, or you heard about God of War, or you heard about this or that. You dabbled a little bit, went over at a buddy's house or something. You got these kids, and guess what? They're getting to be like 10, 11 years old, and what are they asking for Christmas or their birthday? Every single time it comes around, they're asking for video games. They're asking for a game console. This is kind of the way it's been ever since we were kids, right? Now,
yep.
What normally wins out when people have a budget, right? Price and value. Okay. Xbox has been leading the way with accessibility, low barrier of entry, to make it easier for people to get into gaming. That's been one of Phil Spencer's things. He doesn't care what device you play on, where you play, and they want to make it more accessible, right? So is it surprising that the cheaper console that has a service on it that you can pay a low monthly price and play hundreds of games is the #1 selling console this holiday? No. And the other reason is it's easier to get to market. It's easier to put on shelves, right? Because of all these things. It's going to be easier to lower the price if they ever deem necessary.
Think about next year when it's about $200.
Oh my gosh. So just look, and then you see what they're doing with the cloud, right? Okay, you get this device, and then it's going to be able to play all the cloud stuff if you got a good internet connection. You know, what the way that I could imagine being a kid. Okay, back. I mean, I remember opening the Nintendo 64, the freaking SNES, and all that stuff. I imagine I put myself back then. Okay, Christmas time. I open up the Series S. I plug it in. I put in the code for Game Pass. I get a month for free. I automatically have all of these games to play. Automatically. And guess what? They look good. And they run well on the device. It is resolution be damned. The textures and the quality of the graphics in the games are great. Most games run at 1080p or higher. Some of them 1440p. There's even instances where they go above that. 60 frames.
60 frames
is attained in performance mode on most of these games, which is way better than last gen. I can attest to the games that my daughter plays. She doesn't like to play on a 1X anymore. She likes to play on her Series S. She loves her Series S. She gets to play Fortnite. Looks better on the Series S than it does on the 1X. I've seen them both on a 65-inch screen. Comparatively, it was a way better experience. The load times, all of these benefits you get still. And guess what? You still get high quality big games. Starfield is going to be playable on the Series S. Right? Like it's just, you look at all this, you say, oh, like when we were talking about Nintendo, yeah, they got that whole thing of their Nintendo games behind it, right? They're only capable of putting a certain types of games on that device, really, right? Xbox doesn't have that limitation. You can have games like Starfield going to Series S. Series S and the Switch are the same price. The Series S and the Nintendo Switch are the same price. And you're getting Halo, you're getting freaking Starfield, you're getting
Forza
Horizon 5, you're getting all these other multiplats, all these big multiplats, you're getting all this stuff. Yeah, you don't get Metroid Dread, right? You don't get Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. But you get all of these games, all of this content, so much Chorus. We were just talking about Chorus, right? All of this stuff you're going to get to play on a Series S. It's about the games. And that's what Xbox is bringing. So people that want to play these games and want the lowest barrier of entry, $299 for a family is a great deal. And if you want the premium experience, you want to go in, I want the best experience, you're either going to go to crazy high budget PC or you're going to get a Series X, right? For the console gamer like me, I'm getting a Series X. And that option is available too. And that's who was buying the console initially, is the hardcore's got to be there day one, right? We are moving past that phase. The console has been out for over a year now. We are now into the mass market phase of these sales numbers are going to keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. They've all been doing great. PlayStation's sales have been doing great. Xbox sales have been doing great. They haven't been able to keep them on shelves. But now the Series S, like you said, that plan is coming to fruition. The mass market is going to start diving in on this. And guess what? Word of mouth is going to start spreading, Pong. That word of mouth is going to start spreading. These kids are at school.
It already is.
And they talk about, hey, I got a Series S. Oh my gosh, I was playing this, I was playing that. I was playing this. Have you played Halo? Have you played Forza? Have you played this? Have you played that? And their friends are going to want one, right?
Let me give you an anecdotal right here, Matt. Since you're on the topic, let me give you an anecdotal. Wife's youngest, 14.
Yeah.
Lives in California with his dad. Okay. He's coming up here for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
His dad's an Xbox guy. He's got a Series X. And kid has an old Xbox One that we traded in his PlayStation 4 before he left last year, right? He wanted an Xbox. Only could find him Xbox One, so we got him Xbox One. So this year, calls up the wife. Wife's saying, "What do you want for Christmas?" He goes, "Look, Mom, Dad just handed me down his old 4K TV, right? Because Dad upgraded to OLED. Hand him down an old 4K 60 TV, right? Whatever it is." He said, "But I don't care about that." He goes, "All my friends at school are wanting to play Halo." He goes, "I need to get on a new Halo." He goes, "I need to upgrade this Xbox One." He goes, "Can I have an S?" So guess what we got him? We got an S. Yeah. But he said all of his friends at school who are PlayStation kids are asking for S's for Christmas. All of his friends said, "We're all getting on Halo. We're all getting on Halo," because they've been watching everybody stream it now. And they were like, "We want to get on Halo." And they're all PlayStation kids. And he said, finally, everybody's coming over to Xbox. He goes, "I need to get the S, Mom." So we got him the S. But it's happening. That word of mouth is already spreading. A bunch of 14-year-old kids talking together, like you just said, Matt. That's what happens.
Yeah. That's an awesome story, man, because like I love hearing things like that, because it's like what you think is going to happen is actually happening now. Because all it took, the next step for Xbox, besides they nailed the hardware, they're nailing the services, was finally get these games out that we knew were coming, right? We knew they were coming, and then they start hitting on with like Psychonauts, Flight Simulator, Forza Horizon 5, Halo now, and Halo's got a name, right? It's got a name people recognize. It's got a history, and when people start talking about it, they're going to start paying attention because it's all the marketing going on, all the media stuff going on, all the streamers playing it. Um, yeah, dude. And guess what? It's a lot less daunting to ask your parents for a Series S than it is a PS5 or a Series X, right?
Plus, the parents go, I can't find one.
Yeah.
Or they go online and they see scalpers for $800,
Yeah.
right? They're like, yeah, no, F you, kid. But
Yeah.
if the kid goes Series S, now that everybody knows they're available, it's easy to find, right? It's been available at Target now for the past 2 weeks. I've been seeing them at my local Target. They always have 2 on hand at least.
Yeah.
So
it's happening, man. Like that's the Trojan horse.
Yep.
Is that Series S, right?
Yep.
And then once they start getting involved in the ecosystem, understanding all these things, they're going to start talking about all this stuff. And we're seeing the tides shift. That's not to say that PlayStation is not going to still do well. I think they are because they're going to have the 2022 with all the games they got coming around. Everybody's going to want to play those things too, right? They got it. They got a slate coming for 2022 that is going to hit hard, and they're going to do great as well. And it's great to have this console that has these types of experiences and services, and then this console that has these type of experiences and services, and we all have our preferences about what kind of games we like more. Maybe this platform has more of these types of games that I like more, but I think Xbox is getting that mind share now, right? Is growing strong. So man, it was it took them a long time to get to this point.
It was a deep hole that they dug, man.
It was
No doubt.
very, very
Again, they were going to get out of the business, man. That ain't no joke.
But to see
come
the
back from that,
man, that they're beating Switch, they're beating PlayStation, they're beating Series X with the Series S. They're beating everything with the Series S at around the holiday, after I think Black Friday or whatever the reports were. Is like, man, it's crazy. Hey, that's the world we live in now. Xbox is rising, coming back. Now we'll see, like, if they got work to do internationally, like with some of the territories, right? Still not making things as available and marketing wise and all this kind of stuff. Like,
they just made a huge hire over in the East, which has been a major problem. We won't dive into here, but big problem the generations previous that they've had, especially in the East, right? Japan, Korea, China, all of it now, India, is hiring local people to get that local feel for what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Well, they just hired a guy who's worked for Blizzard in Japan as as the director of marketing for Blizzard. And then he's been at a couple other companies, both in Japan, Korea, and I think he had some Chinese territories as well. They just hired a local guy to head up their marketing over there.
Yeah.
For that region.
Nice.
That's a local hire, right? Because those are the people that you need on the ground that understand what you're missing, that you're not hitting when you're talking about those different cultures. And we know that's been one of the big areas that Xbox has missed out on constantly. Huge hire. They're taking, again, we don't need to know. We already do know that Xbox is serious this time around, but they're doing things that show how locked in they are right now. What this means. Again, 2 billion, 3 billion people in a joke. They're going for it.
Yeah.
So, but the Series S, this is going to be the longest generation too. Now we're hearing the chip shortage potentially running into 2023.
Yeah.
Look, this is going to be the longest generation ever to have a console like the Series S that does not require the same silicon that a Series X does, to be able to produce more of that cheaper, less powerful, but still can run everything the Series X does console. To have that option, which the competition does not have, is a huge win. They probably had we know they had the plans, but they obviously didn't see the pandemic happening. They didn't see the chip shortage happening. But because they got that little Series S sitting there, they are reaping the benefits in this generation, guaranteed. Like I like before, I was going out on a limb and saying 8 to 10 years. I now say 10 years is not out of the question by any stretch of the
Well,
imagination
you
for this
got to
gen, just due to chip
also
shortage.
add to the fact that
Yep.
with cloud streaming, what it's going to turn
Yep.
into,
Correct.
like it doesn't
Correct.
even really silicone is irrelevant at that
And
point.
that they knew,
You know?
right?
Yeah.
That they had figured out. When the pandemic hit, what did they do, man? We now know for a fact they sacrificed Series X consoles. They sacrificed people getting Series X consoles to make sure those server blades were upgraded
Yeah.
ahead of schedule for this holiday season for this exact reason. And they pushed up the schedule as far as when they were going to offer cloud streaming to the
Yeah.
consoles for this reason, because now I can take my old Xbox One VCR sitting right here. I can put that in my bedroom and I can stream any game that the Series X plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it going to be 4K? No, it ain't going to be 4K, but guess what? It's going to be 1080 60. Easy.
Yeah.
And again, that's the magic that Xbox and Microsoft had the plans in place. But again, the pandemic pushed everything forward. But because they had done so much back end work and all this thought went into what their strategy was going to be looking into the future, they are now going to reap the benefits. They are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in this industry. That's why you see deals like Sega saying, hey, can you help us? Can you
Yeah.
help us get on board? Can you help us get on track for the future? Why? That's why. Because they thought about this stuff. And that's why it's ridiculous when people say, well, it's the only console available. No, 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 no. It's called strategy. Give credit where credit's due. I give Sony credit when they do things. I give Nintendo credit when they do things. Nothing but respect to the hustle over there. They know what they're doing. Again, it's time. It's time. All you people who've downplayed Xbox, you had every right to last generation. They made a big screw ups and they dug themselves a hole. You had every right to criticize and to say they're doing it all wrong and they didn't know what they were doing over there. Start giving credit though now. They know what they're doing. They have a plan in place. They've had a plan in place since about 2018 and it's starting to show up now. Yeah, would we all have liked it to show up a lot sooner? Of course
Yeah.
we would have. But guess what? Give credit where credit's due. Start giving Microsoft that praise that they now deserve for thinking about this stuff ahead of time because it's working.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to work.
It's like
So
it's weird to live in reality, right? Like instead of this, hey, there was a lot of times where people were like, but Xbox says no games. Xbox says no this. When you know that there's like 50 games in development by major studios and they just acquired like 10, right? Like,
Right.
but still Xbox, they haven't come out with anything this year. Like, hey, they got like freaking all these people working on the shit. Do you want them to just freaking like pull it out of their ass? You know what I mean? And give you shit. No, they want to make good games, right? So it's going to take them some time. The last few years, the lack of first party big franchises and IP and games was not because of the last couple of years. It was because of the years prior when they had made all of those mistakes, went down the wrong paths, closures of studios, letting people go, didn't know what they were doing, almost moved on from gaming potentially. Yeah, there was internal some people
Right.
didn't think it was worth
Struggle.
it. Some people were fought for it, you know.
Yep.
Guess what? The people that fought for it won out. And we're now finally starting to reap the benefits of all the work that everybody that has been on this Xbox ride and has been talking about it, has been seeing these things, has been paying attention to all the acquisitions, has been paying attention to the games in development, has been paying attention to the moves that they're making. We're seeing all the benefits now, and the casual market and all the naysayers and all the people that were hating on it irrationally still the last couple years, even though all the investments they were making, they have no talking points. Now, if you come out there and say Xbox has no games, you sound like a moron, right? You can't have those talking points anymore. You can't go out there and say that shit anymore because guess what? You already looked like an idiot to those people that knew, but now you look like an idiot to everybody, right? So they have won over the mind share of the media again. And
Oh yeah, now the media are Xbox shills. Oh God.
yeah. Oh, did you see that one post
Yeah,
that one guy
Now,
made? Yeah.
now the media's paid Xbox shills, even though they've been all over PlayStation for the past 6, 7 years. Now 1 year because
Yeah.
Xbox is doing things right. Oh God, they're all paid Xbox shills. They couldn't possibly like
Yeah.
Xbox just because Xbox is doing things right. No, that couldn't be the case, man. That couldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, as a primary Xbox gamer, even last gen, right? Like it it was rough, at times, right? Like you didn't have as much excitement and you're just kind of playing whatever. And I always liked the ecosystem the most and the services. There was a lot of good stuff. But hearing all that noise, right? Just like it is crazy how the tides have turned and they have crawled out of that chasm. I mean,
It's fun to watch. It's
yeah,
fun to watch, man. I love this stuff. I love it. I love the chess battles. I love
yeah,
the business side of things. I love watching a company put a plan together, coming back. And again, I've seen this so many times. Again, when you go back through decades, this is nothing new. The ups and downs of gaming have been real for every company.
yeah,
Again, Sega was top of the world at one point.
yeah.
They no longer are in the console business, and it only took them a generation and a half.
But now they're making a resurgence again.
Now they're coming back because
Yeah.
they're getting their shit together and because they're figuring it out and they're looking to the future, right? And they're getting a plan together. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
But again, this happens constantly. I just love it. And again, I cheer on every time. Again, PlayStation had their own trip up. PS3, right? They had their own screw up. They were down and out. They've come out and said they were almost out of the gaming business.
Yeah.
Right? Because the PlayStation 3 cost them so much. Right?
Yeah, that thing was like $6.99 at launch.
Oh God, man, I remember that. I was
Crazy.
like, screw the same thing I said to Xbox when they started talking TV. I was like, you know what? Nah, you guys ain't speak my language. When PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were coming out, I was like, Sony, what are you doing? No, no,
Yeah.
I'm done with you. I'm not doing you. You could wait. I'm Xbox this time around. That's the way I roll. But that's what's great about watching this and to see what's happened. Because again, competition is better for everybody. And
Yeah.
right now, we can see it. We can see what's happening right now. Sony has to invest more. Sony has to look elsewhere, right? Nintendo can do their own thing. They've created their own little pond, but Sony's going to invest more. Sony's going to bring multiplayer games, even though they haven't had to do that. They're going to do that again. Why? Because Xbox is having success, right? That's what happens in this industry. It pushes everybody forward or you get left behind. That's how it works. And Xbox is leading the way this generation. Again, just give credit where credit's due. You spent all these years kicking a dog while it's down. Now that it's gotten back up and it's figured things out, give it some praise. It's not going to hurt you to do that. There's no way you can hold that much hate for a plastic box, right? There's just no way. And if you do, as I say on Living Split Screen, get some help. Get some help. That's all I'm going to say to you. If you had that much hate for a plastic box, man, get some help.
Yeah, all platforms, I want them all to succeed. You know what I mean? There are certain things I want more from certain things, right?
Yeah.
And that's human nature. But wanting stuff to fail is weird, right?
It is.
It's a weird trait. Wanting something to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting what is the benefit or reward for anybody to hope somebody or a business that makes entertainment to fail? You know what I mean? And it's like there's like an agenda from some people out there to create that, but that's not what we're about. I want PlayStation to kill it and keep doing great. I want Xbox to do great. I want Nintendo to start doing well, I want Nintendo to get back into my heart.
They aren't going to. Rather, they're just a fish in their own pond.
Yeah,
okay.
they are. They're.
It's okay.
I'm Nintendo.
Don't care.
But
no, that's okay. As long as we got the two major players rolling, we're fine. Amazon to scare them both, we're good. That's what drives this industry forward.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
and look, we are reaping the benefits. Again, I can't explain how good it is to people who weren't around back in the day, man. I just
Man,
can't.
the kids don't understand, Pong.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't. They don't. Like I made my post the other day. I said the kid me would never have believed this future for gaming. Would never have believed it.
Put it into perspective, right? You're an Xbox kid. Okay, you remember going to Toys R Us when you're a kid, and they didn't have games on the shelves back then. They had this wall of plastic sleeves with the card insert in it, and you took the insert out and you walked up to the magic counter. You walked up to the magic counter, the window in the wall, and you handed them your little sheet, and they gave you the game, right? Now imagine you're that same kid today's day and age. You go up to that wall, and it's full of all these games.
Yep.
$14.99 a month.
You get to play all of them.
Play all of them. Unlimited. On your fucking phone. If you want to. You can be like, I'm just gonna pull out my phone and play this game. I'm gonna pull out my phone, play this game. I'm gonna go home, play it on my big screen TV. I'm gonna go home, play it on my computer. I'm gonna play it on whatever. That's the day.
Yep.
That's the way it is today.
Yep.
Kids don't understand it. Back then, you only got that special trip to Toys R Us every once in a while, a couple times a year maybe, and you got one game.
One game.
Got to pick one game, and what a decision that was.
My 2-week allowance would pay for all those games each month. It's just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think about. God, man. Yeah, kids just don't understand.
Taking out the trash and getting enough money to pay for hundreds of games.
Yeah, exactly. Mowing the lawn once. You got your whole month of Game Pass paid for. God,
oh my God. Those lucky bastards.
I know.
These lucky bastards. These privileged little shits running around everywhere.
Not garbage games either. You get Halo. No. You get Forza Horizon 5. You get all the big shots.
And then they complain about progression.
Right. Cosmetics. But my allowance doesn't let me buy the black and blue skin. Oh, God.
It's too much. I hate grinding my levels. I don't like this monetization. I feel like I'm being predatored.
But they said they're going to fix it. They're not fixing it fast enough. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's a whole other topic. God. Man, we killed it. 2 hours, 20 minutes, brother.
Yeah.
We could sit here and teach the kids all something. Oh boy. Anyways, this was a great episode. Chat, you guys were amazing. Absolutely great. What just happened? Thanks for stopping in here. I think I saw Lord Roughness in the chat. Good to see you, brother, for sure. Everybody who's still hanging out with us, Gaming Filter, you were in here. Big Bad Mo, great to see you, man. Love seeing you in the chats. Hey, thank you all for joining us tonight on this episode of PM in the PM. Hope we gave you some entertainment. The chat was going by fast. That usually means that we're talking about stuff that you guys want to talk about. Again, we are not an Xbox only show.
Are you sure?
Like, look,
no, I know.
Look, Xbox is just dominating. Like Mav and I were just talking about. That's why. That's why it's being talked about all the time now, is because they're dominating news cycles because of what they're doing, because they're doing it so well right now. Right. And it's just a time to celebrate it. I'd love to talk about other things, but right now that's what it is. But we did talk about Battlefield, which is third party, which is multi-plat, and a fantastic franchise. Neither one of us want to see die. We talked about Starfield, which will be Xbox exclusive for anybody who still does not know that. Guess what? You're going to have to buy one of those S's, right? Or the streaming stick when they probably announce that next year, or get the app. But you're going to have to be in this ecosystem if you want to play Bethesda titles, and Starfield you're going to want to play. I'm telling you that. Covered that. And then, of course, we finished it up with the Domination. So great night, Mav. Great to be back here. Missed you last week, brother, not doing the show. It was nice to have a break. I'm not going to lie, and just get some gaming in, but I do miss the shows. I do miss talking about this stuff, but you know what? Happy to be back here tonight. Glad we could do this. So Mav, tell everybody what you got going on. Your 100 million shows are back. You're on 24/7. Caitlin is now doing product reviews, which means you can stream even more. We won't go into that, but hey, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on, and how you doing, brother?
Yeah. Thanks. Also, hey, I want to take a second. In the chat, I see some
Yeah.
like awesome comments. They're like, when you guys leave comments like that, it actually does mean a lot to us. Like, just to see like a positive stuff coming back. So super appreciate it. Tony Grass says, thanks for the content, guys. One of the better shows going. Good job. Thank you, sir. One of the better community members out there as well, Tony Grasso, for sure, as well to you. And yeah, only on Xbox. So I'm glad to have people like Pong and Fun Speculation in the community. We love what you do, bros. Yeah, we love what you guys do too in the chat. You guys are awesome. Appreciate everybody here for the commentary and everything, and showing up for game streams or any of the podcasts we do, or random videos. And I got to get back to making some more videos and stuff, but got to have the inspiration in it. I guess next week, we talk about, there's been a lot of Xbox discussion the last year or so. It ain't gonna change next week, because guess what? Halo's dropping finally, right? Halo campaign. That's going to be an ongoing discussion for a long time. So excited about that. But if you guys want to check out this podcast on another platform, try audio, right? We got this going into Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and more, as well as all of our other shows. So if you can't catch us live, catch us there, or on demand here on YouTube, as well. So I appreciate all the audio listeners for our shows, including Xbox Ultimate, which the audio listenership has been growing steadily now for Xbox Ultimate podcast. So I appreciate all of that. Speaking of Xbox Ultimate, tomorrow night, Jasper is going to join us. The fun Poppy Jasper Gaming, the realist, as I call him, is going to join us on Xbox Ultimate tomorrow with the crew. We're going to have a blast. We got lots to talk about, some awesome discussion with the Magnificent Seven. And also FSP will be back as well on Saturday with Gaming Key, and also Jasper. Not Jasper. Fuzzy. Sorry, now I'm getting all my own shows mixed up. Holy shit. Fuzzy Belvedere will be there as well. So shout out to those guys. We have different dynamic on that show as well. Absolutely a blast. And then Mondays are tidbits. Catch me on Tuesdays on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick on Xbox After Podcast with Pong Soul here as well. And hey, Wednesday is Fun Pop. We had a fun discussion last night about Spider-Man, Hawkeye, and all this fun stuff. So I appreciate all you guys, 100%. We love you. And hey, Pong, did you say everywhere where they can find you, sir?
No, but I'm going to. And you know what? Mav doesn't push it enough, but hey, if you guys are enjoying the content here as well on Fun Speculation, and you guys, want to help out in any way, shape, or form, look, he's got merchandise as well. So go check out the Fun Speculation merch. Lots of stuff in there as well. Go check it out. He's got something representing all of his shows. Again, he's building an empire. It's not built overnight, people. So, but if you're enjoying any of the content and you want to show it off, go check out the merch as well. You know what, Mav? This was a great show.
Yeah,
you know what? I had a great time, man. Again, I forget how much I miss it. And chat, you guys are all amazing, and the comments are appreciated. I have nothing but love and respect for each one of you, because that's where I started. Never thought I'd be here doing this in a million years. I had no aspiration to do podcasting.
You're one of the best.
Join this community. God no.
You
got so
are.
much to do.
People know it. People know it.
Yeah, I wish I could devote more time to it, right? But real life comes first, and you got to pay the bills, right? So, but at the end of the day, I had no aspiration. I started out in that chat. I joined this community just to find people that thought the way I did about gaming, that loved it, had a passion for it, and just really wanted to talk some of the nitty gritty about it. And that's what I found here. And I happened to find um, part of my extended family through Mav and Fun Speculation and Caitlin, and this whole crew, the Magnificent Seven over here. Again, I say it from time to time, but I mean it. Out of all this pandemic, out of all this crazy world that we are currently living in right now, the biggest, brightest spot in it is what I found in this community with all of you. And I love you.
Yeah.
And that goes for everybody in chat as well. Again, so many familiar names in there. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Love you guys. But this has been a great show. Thank you for joining us on PM in the PM. You can find me, Pong Soul, Xbox, Twitter. You know the drill. Otherwise, tomorrow night, hopefully I'm going to be there. I might have to take the night off, but obviously go check out Xbox Ultimate Fun Speculation channel again. As he just said, be there Saturday morning, living split screen. This week will be a 3-hour cap for me and Steele because my dad is in town and I'm going to see him Saturday afternoon. So we do have to keep it at 3 hours. So it will be a 3-hour show, but it's going to be 3 hours on the nose. But be there, living split screen. My brother from another Steel Rain and I, live, raw, and uncut, like he always says. We are going to bring you the Saturday morning energy you need to kick off your weekend. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Be there, please come check us out. We just passed 400 subs. It was a big milestone over Thanksgiving weekend. We're on our way to 1,000. We just want to keep building the community. So living split screen, all one word. Shop podcast, PTK Blam's channel, Saturday nights. Fuzzy Belvedere, friend of Mav, of course, on FSP, will be there, and Tidbits will be there as long with Centurion and myself. So join us, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. That's PTK Blam's channel, the Shop Podcast. You're going to love it. We end your Saturday night right. And then next week, as Mav said, Xbox Factor Podcast, Mr. Boomstick, Double Barrel Gaming is the channel over there. You know that. Mav, we got Archimedes, 3-Bit. Hopefully will be rejoining us at some point if he ever stops working or visiting with his fan clubs or whatever he's doing. Hope to have him back there as well. And of course, Zemi Games and myself. All things Xbox, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time, Xbox Factor podcast on Tuesdays. Otherwise, again, thank you all for joining us. PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM. For my co-host, Mav, thank you all. Check you all later. Have a wonderful night. Play what you love what you play, because it is the golden age of gaming. And we will all talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good one, everybody. Bye. Go play some games. Love you.